Falcom Fancast, episode, In this episode, we talk about how Trails betrayed us. I mentioned 4chan a lot, and we basically learn about Trails, Falcom, and NIS America. Out of love, obviously. So welcome. Spoilers for like literally everything in Trails up to the end of Kuro. Kuro 2, I mean, that one, yeah. My chair. Wait, I need a new chair. Almost as devastated as I was, actually, when Cold Steel 4 didn't have enough sexual molestation scenes. They needed at least 10 more.
It needs more, man. It needs more groping, that's what it needs.
Especially by lesbians. Yeah. I think they need some more badly written lesbian characters.
More sexual assault is all we need. Like, who cares about the story, you know? Like, that stuff, that's for losers. Like, this is what we want, you know?
Yeah, we want the beach minigames, don't we? That's what we really want.
Yeah, and you know, I just love Reen when he's like, you know, it's just
with my friends, more friendship speeches, please. Just give me more of them.
Yeah, it's just the best, man.
It's better than Shakespeare, is what I keep telling people, and you know, nobody seems to agree with me apart from like angry people in comments. But I think it is better than Shakespeare. Cold Steel writing.
It's just
I think, I think it's the apex of modern writing as we know it, to be honest with you. There's nothing better than like sexually stunted dudes writing little girls and high school dudes.
And giving fanfic material, because who cares about the story when you can make the story yourself in your head? Am I correct?
Yeah, it's like, instead of making something good, you should just like appeal to the lowest common denominator, and then you just make all the money in the world. Yep. As we can tell by Falcom, by all the money they're making.
Yeah. They're so mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my nan the other day. She wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. You hear that new Falcom IP? They have a new IP. And I'm like, what is it? And she's called, I don't know, but it's coming out. I go down the shop, buy a loaf of bread, and I'm like, did you see Trails of Cold Steel last night? Did you see the anime?
Actually,
talking to my doctor. Yeah.
Did you know, like, seriously, there is a lady on YouTube, like, she must be around 75-ish years old, and she has like a gaming channel, and she talks about like Trails and stuff. That's actually pretty sick.
Really?
You know, I mean, seeing like I don't know, like an old lady being like super into gaming and having an audience. Yeah, I went across that channel like a long time ago, like 6 months ago or so, and I was just like, yeah.
That's really cool.
That's badass. Actually. I think it's awesome. But yeah, I forgot the name. It's too bad of the channel.
I know of there's a lady called Shirley Curry. She does like Skyrim stuff. I think she does anyway. And Fallout. I think they're gonna put her into the next Elder Scrolls or something like that. Or maybe she was in Fallout, something like that. So the internet needs more old people. Yeah. I was gonna say old. I go with older.
No, that's Falcom's nightmare. We need more 16 years old. We need more young players.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
That's all it's
Good
about.
point.
You know, who's gonna pay? Is it like the middle-aged man with a spare income? No, that's gonna be the young 16-year-olds borrowing money from their parents. That's who's the main target, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we need to do.
That's what we need. Because that's how it works, right? When you play a video game, what you want is to play as you in the game and identify as the character, right? You want to be the same age, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're unrealistic and have like a robot mech and every girl in the world wants to fuck them.
Exactly.
Dude, I can already hear people. If I said that on my fucking video, they'd be like, not every girl! Look at Tina and Edgar! And it's like, okay, it's hyperbole. It's I'm exaggerating a bit. Jesus Christ.
Actually, I have actually a theory about that, because you know why? With this situation, Reen is basically still a virgin forever, right? As all the ladies. And I have actually like thought of something that could explain it, because you know, Falcom always has this purity thing. You know, like when you play Ys, if you've played Ys 9, for example, even Ys 8, they mention how pure Adol is, at least in Japanese. I think you did in your video about Ys 8.
Oh, the brightest soul.
Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
When they say the brightest soul, in Japanese, they talk about purity. And in Ys 9 as well, when you finish the game, sorry, spoiler, but when you're like, smashing the egg or whatever, You can hear Fina from East One and like all these cameos, and they talk about like how pure Adol is or whatever. And so I think it's the same thing. Like you need to be pure to get elevated to God status. You know what I mean? So this is
so
why.
he's not allowed to get his dick wet.
Yeah.
He's allowed to smash the egg, but he can't fertilize one.
Yes. But this is why Rin is like this, because that way he can be some kind of god or something.
Well, that's what you want, you know. Ascend to godhood as a...
Oh, God.
They say like wizards and gods, you know, maybe that is the way.
Yeah, that is the way. Or maybe it's just to appease the audience.
Well, I think that's the only thing about him that's relatable, that the people they're appealing to, is the fact that he doesn't actually have any. But
yeah.
He has all these options, but it still makes me like crazy. I mean, like, that dude who was angry with us is probably going to hate this. He'll watch it and he'll be like, here we are moaning again. But at this point, this really is like... I mean, it really is the final rant in many ways, isn't it? I did it on my channel, so like,
yeah.
I remember us talking just maybe 10-20 minutes ago saying, let's just go all in. It still weirds me out because that's where I hopped into the series of Cold Steel.
All right.
I really thought about this much. It's only just come to me. I hopped into the series the moment all this crazy shit really ramped up.
Yep.
The video I made about how Trails basically mainly sucks now, I used this thumbnail of from Trails in the Sky to this embarrassing trash. And I had a feeling, I was like, people are going to talk about how there's sometimes in Trails in the Sky, and they're going to use that as like a point against me. But it's like, I know, I'm aware it was because I come back and I played them all. I think people assume that I'm someone who started with Sky. I'm not. I started with Cold Steel 1. And then I played up to Cold Steel 3. And I watched recaps for the old games really, really quickly. Then played 4. But after that, I went back and I played all the others.
Yeah.
And honestly, out of all of them, I enjoy Sky the Third and Cold Steel 3 the most. Probably Cold Steel 3 a little more. So my favourite is actually a Cold Steel game, most likely. But I was able to really see it. I think it was in just playing them again, or for the first time rather, after already playing Cold Steel, and I really saw it kind of creep up on the series, and I was like, oh, you can see the exact moment where the new writers came in.
Yes.
Right here. And it's like, okay, maybe Kondo shouldn't have taken such a back seat, but it's really difficult. Here's the big problem, because if you go on Wikipedia, this is just an off-the-cuff rant at this point. I'll put Trails of Cold Steel. Sorry, how loud is that, by the way? Is it better? Oh, wait,
that's fine. Don't worry about that. We can hear.
Nice. Well, you've got director, producer, writer, and it's like, well, fucking who's doing what? I imagine it's a case of like the director is the head honcho, but it could be the producer who's the head honcho. I've tried googling it. It's hard to tell. But
we don't have a clear set staff or anything. Actually, they talked about it in an interview, I think.
Yeah, it's really haphazard in how they do it. Like,
I'm gonna be. This is what I think, but this is all the marketing. Unfortunately, this is basically all marketing. There is nothing else to it, and so how should I explain this? You know how they've been in the last decade. Kondo has been talking about this because I know I've been following. I'm basically a boomer in the fan base at this point, and I've been following ever since, I will say, East 1 and 2 Chronicles on the PSP. So you know I've been around a bit, and every interview since Cold Steel 1, they always mentioned how they want to attract young players, and I think this is the answer. And the problem is, I never had problems with fan service, anything. We talked about this in previous episodes. I don't want to repeat myself, but people seem to think that I do, but I don't. It's just the way it's done, and at what cost, as we said in the past as well. And they seem to just really focus on that, the marketing aspect that they think is gonna work, all that shit. Yeah. And because of that, the writing per se is being put in the on the as a last priority kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, they want to pretend it's still about the same stuff they used to do that made people fall in love with the series. All that detailed world building, lore, NPCs, main characters, all that stuff. But actually, in reality, this is just, again, basically the reason why people play these games nowadays is not the same as it used to be. Now it's for like, I don't know, the memes, the what do you call it, the ship, you know, like the shippers and like the fanfic kind of. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not saying I'm not into that stuff, but like I'm not saying it's wrong either, but it's just they basically did something that doesn't suit the original formula, and they basically gave the middle finger to all the fans that supported Falcom until now and said, fuck you, now we want this kind of audience, this is who we want to appeal to, and if you're not okay with it, just leave. That's how I felt it anyways. That's my...
I've noticed it myself actually as I've gone back through the series and come to the current point just after Reverie, I guess. And I remember, I think I might have brought it up in the video, I remember saying something to the effect of like, the writing back in the day was good enough to mitigate some of this shit. But now while the writing does have its good moments, there are so many things about the writing that just aren't good enough now that they don't excuse it anymore. They don't really nullify it. It's not good enough. Like, I used to be able to point to the writing
genuine
and go, well,
side of it is gone, basically. That's how you know what I mean? Even if it's never been, let's be honest, it's never been some kind of masterpiece, right? In terms of writing, it's been very basic, but those were charming RPGs, you know? They had something that felt genuine. Like when Kondo started Trails in the Sky, he said it himself, that was his first new project in the company. After like he worked on The Legend of Heroes 3, 4, and 5, you know. And he was a fan himself, which what I found actually very insulting and also even not paradoxal, but like ironic. What I find ironic is that you have a fan, a really hardcore fan that used to have like fan sites and everything in the 90s, that went into the company with that perspective and basically gives the middle finger to all the fans and saying, we want to do this now. You know, it's very ironic. But anyways, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. What was I saying? Well, I think it's the genuine side of the writing is gone, because when they started, it was just all about, let's do this thing, you know, let's do this project. We want to do this, and we'll see where this goes. And after this, they decided to change and say, you know what, we're just gonna do this marketing thing, and instead of making what they set up to do at first. That's how it feels like. I don't know if you agree with me, but
I think that they have prioritized the what they think will make them money, and in turn sort of turn their back on what they are.
Exactly.
I think back in the day they were they always had this element to them. It's like I remember I mentioned those comments where what did they say? You know, oh, well, Sky did this too, and it's like what I have to keep saying to people is they didn't do it nearly enough as this. Yeah. But what they did do back in the day, and I would agree that it's never been a masterpiece. Like my review of Cold Steel 1 was very much a case of like disaster or masterpiece, and I'm like, disasterpiece. Basically, it's somewhere in the middle. But I've noticed that there are certain moments that we can all point to. I discovered this YouTuber actually recently. I think they popped up in my comments. It was they're called Lowest Expectations. Did some great Trails videos. Just did a like top 10 worst moments of Trails, but it got me thinking about the top 10 best. You know, and I wondered if I was still making Trails content, what would I choose? And I remember the first thing that came to mind was like Chapter 4, Trails to Azure. I remember thinking that fucking intro to that chapter. I imagine people don't care about spoilers, but I can warn them in the intro. Yeah. In Trails to Azure Chapter 4, how does it open up? You've got the Red Constellation, the Jaeger group, and they're fucking laying siege to Crossbell. The whole city's on fire. The music's incredible. Shirley drops a fucking chandelier on Ilya, which is just the most wonderful thing. Fucking hate Ilya. I wish it fucking snapped her in half.
I agree.
Unfortunately, she's still alive, but still. Risha's like, you fucking bitch. Oh, well, she didn't say that, but you know, and she starts fucking shouting. She's like, Shirley Orlando. And then the music swells and it like pans, and it's like panning to different shots of Crossbell in fucking flames. You've got a shootout on the street between the Crossbell police and the Red Constellation. They brought their fucking dogs in. I'm like, they've been building up to this for the entire fucking arc. This is fucking insanely cool. Yeah. And it's moments like that made me think, okay, this is why people think that Falcom are much better than they are. Yeah. But the problem is, in order to get to that moment, they needed so much fucking bullshit.
Yep.
They did so much bullshit. Crossbell, Trails from Zero. That game was largely nothing. I know it had its moments, but there's so much nothing. And this even shone through in Reverie when we're doing Lloyd's route, and it's like, okay, yeah, the first 2 minutes was 2 hours rather was just us. First 5 hours, if you don't rush through it, it's basically just talking to fuckers and Crossbell.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this necessary, or could we just get to the point? And that's where I think Falcom sort of wrote themselves into a corner. But they did have these moments which I think I was too sentimental about and gave them too much credit for them. I gave them a lot of points for that, and they used up those points with all of those stupid fucking things that they do.
Yeah.
But now all the fat, what do you call it, the filler and the padding, I wrote it down in a reply to some comment I got. They were like, they asked me what variables I compare when judging the quality of writing. It was a good question, so I replied, that won't be necessary. I should be the one thanking you. I should be the one thanking you. Why are you holding back? I guess I should stop holding back. And they would keep doing all these things. Then I thought, rehashing all plot points, friendship speeches that sound
That
like
won't be necessary.
That won't be necessary.
Yes.
That might have been the first one, yeah. And like, you got the friendship speeches, sound like they're written by a 12-year-old. They have an inability to handle anything sexual in a mature way. Everyone has to get a fucking line in before a boss battle, even when the room's full of people. And like, at the end of Reverie, you've got like literally the whole fucking village is coming to the final boss room. Even my chair's trying to fucking do a friendship speech right now. It's fucking And then like, what else have we got here? People barely dying, so the stakes are practically non-existent. More and more lame nicknames. Like, everyone's got a nickname now, not just a few.
Everyone's special.
Grandmasters. Oh yeah, everyone. And when everyone's special, no one is. Not even Reen with his burden for 5 games.
Yeah.
Poorly implemented, porn-sick harem bullshit, Grandmaster's plans.
That leads to nowhere, to be honest, after Reverie, because now we can talk about it, since you've played it.
Yeah, it's gone fucking nowhere. And we've got the padding and the filler. You've got the sexual assault played off for laughs. Kids being groped by grown women. Falcom writing almost every gay or bisexual character as an inappropriate degenerate. They're dragging mysteries out for 19 years. Crossbell needs saving. Curses are controlling people. Let's throw a mask on this person and make them controlled. A mysterious masked man named C. Lollies and suitcases. That's what I wrote. And it's like, holy shit, reading it back now, I can see it when you put it all like that. We got 5 games of that. 5 100-hour games if you take your time.
For what? What did you get in the end?
A curse and an AI and play the Kuro arc. You fucking cuck. That's what they're saying.
The 2 curses the games at this point, you know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. It's weird because, again, people are gonna say like, "Oh, you shit on the games just to shit on it." This is coming from
that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
We love it a bit.
Yeah, and this feels so bad, you know, when you love something so much for so many years, and then this is what you get. I just don't understand how people can be okay with it. And to be fair, I think
Stockholm syndrome.
All the people that quit that I've seen recently, I've seen everybody quit. And the only ones staying are, guess what? All the people that talk about the games now on Twitter, which is not about the story, it's not about anything like that, it's not about world building, it's just about who's gonna fuck who. That's all that matters. It's like, my ship is better than your ship, and I ship him with chicken, and I ship this character with whatever. And it's like, respect my ship, you know? Every ship is valid, you know?
Respect my ship. Every ship's... Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is what they talk about. And this is the people staying.
It's the same on Reddit. Mate, it's the same on fucking Reddit and Twitter. The only fun place is 4chan. I'm saying it now. I don't give a fuck who knows it. The only fun place is fucking 4chan now. It's the only fun place on the internet. And unfortunately, that's where everyone who's been banned from everywhere else has been pushed, as well as the originals. But if you can put up with being called all the worst words in the world, which you should be able to on the internet, then you can have a lot of fun over there. They're very repetitive. There's like a Ren poster.
I have a friend
like
that goes a lot on 4chan, so he tells me stories. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
I'm on there most days myself. It's somebody posted one of my things there, and I'm like, oh Jesus,
wow.
Do I really want that? But at the same time, it's like, well, you know, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? I've had Twitter brigade my shit. 4chan at least is funny, but everything else is just crap.
I know.
Everyone on the internet, but that's I mentioned it in the video. It's a direct result of what happens when you market yourself to these people. You will attract them, and they will completely make any discourse nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Because this is what they wanted, and they've gotten it. They've killed the series. Like, it can't be a coincidence that me and so many others have jumped off at Reverie. At Reverie specifically is when we just either jumped off or just thought, okay, I'm just emotionally checked out. And the reason we care so fucking much is because some of us have been around for over a decade, but the common denominator is most of us have been around for years and years. Yeah. We've been waiting for something.
And invested, we've been invested.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're going to draw out mysteries for that long, you better fucking answer them, bro. Like, it's dishonest to just say, okay, here are the mysteries. Kondo, I am so fucking sick of his interviews. Like, basically, you could sum up Kondo in one sentence.
He would make a great politician, I think.
Oh, he would. He's running for diet next year, isn't he? Not really, but I imagine he's. But, you could sum him up in one sentence. That would be asterisk laughs, no comment. Just no comment. Yeah. That's Kondo.
Yeah.
No comment Kondo. That's his new name. No comment Kondo. I'm not going to make fun of him personally before anybody gets onto that. It's not personal. I'm just saying I'm sick of how he conducts himself professionally. Yeah. I know he turned up to some panel once and he bowed really earnestly, and good for him, and everybody clapped him. The room clapped, and all the voice panels actors in English, they were all happy, and it was a nice moment. But I remember thinking recently when I was thinking about that, wait, if we wanted to talk to Falcom, how would we? And then I realised they don't give a fuck about us. I'm going to look up something right now. I want to make sure I'm right. Okay, I don't want to go on a rant and then get it wrong. Yeah, they don't have an English Twitter account.
No.
They don't even have a throwaway. They could just hire any random nobody to do it for a pittance. Like, just, okay, community manager, English account, just do everything that you post on the Japanese account. They don't even have a point of contact with their English audience.
No,
they don't even have they can't even be fucking bothered to make an English Twitter account. That's how little they give a shit.
Yep.
And people defend them.
I know.
They fucking defend them. They think that they're loved. But Kondo said in an interview that I'm the best bean. I'm the best. No, they don't care about you. Exactly. They will soon when they realise you're the best chance at fucking helping their sinking company. But fucking hell. And it dawned on me, they don't give a fuck.
Also,
they don't care.
For the people that say that Kondo and Falcom in general is not being whores right now, like whoring themselves, I have proof that they are. Because there's an interview, and I agree that I lost the link. I'm looking for it, but I'm scared that someone might have pulled the interview down for some reason. But there's an interview that came out of Cold Steel 4 when it was localized, brand new. And there's a guy, I forgot, again, it's been a while, I clicked off a link of Twitter, and there's a guy that asked, basically, first question was like, what happened? Like, what is this shit, basically? Like, what happened? And asking about this like nonsense with the bonding events that make no sense. And do you know what he replied?
What's that?
We had so many complaints about not having enough choices and romance that we had to do it. You asked for it. That's what he replied.
Ooh.
So when they say,
oh no,
when they say like, I saw like recently a post by Kondo saying, we make the games we want to make. We don't listen to people. We want to make something for whatever. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
God damn it.
It's like Todd Howard, Japanese Todd Howard.
God damn it, man. And he basically spilled the beans in the interview, and now I've been looking for it recently because it's an interview that came out about a couple of years ago, and I just cannot find it anymore. I don't know why, with this specific line. And I'm like...
He had it wiped from the internet with his intelligence agency. He got Claire Revelt on the Erebonian intelligence agency on the case to wipe all mention of it from the internet.
Also, look, like, that was so worth it to do all this bullshit of low quality fan service, right, in Cold Steel 4. That was such a payoff at the end.
Oh yeah, with that copy paste cutscene, that was great.
Not just that.
And the fact that it never mattered anyway.
Yeah, it never happened. Rin, actually it happened with...
I love you.
it happened with the Rin that died. Actually, he never went with anyone in this timeline. Oh fuck! I knew this was coming.
He died pure.
I knew.
That's how he's a god.
I knew this was coming when you know that scene came up in Reverie at the end when you go like to the final thing to save Rufus, and you see like after you beat Rin beats Rin, and after that like you meet him again one last time. And he's like, oh, you want me to bring the choice or whatever because we'll never see you again. And he's like, no, it's fine, whatever, as long as she's doing fine. You remember that? That is the scene that tells you this never happened. Never did. So that was so worth it, wasn't it? To fuck up games, to lead to that. Such a payoff, man.
It's just such a weird thing when you think about how much it really interfered with the storytelling and everything else on all the character dynamics of the first game.
Yeah.
And then I guess the way that I really look at it is like I realized it was shit when I heard the voice actresses doing it in Reverie.
Oh, the cringe in English, that must have been...
Reen, where are you looking? You know, all of that. And I remember thinking, to Falcom, like... It just got me thinking about NIS America in general and how like sometimes the voice acting can be so great, but that Falcom script, like
in Japanese it's okay. Like I've tried in Japanese, it's whatever, you know. But
well, you can't tell the difference between like, you know, how do you put it? The script, like you can't really tell the differences in the script unless you have them side by side. But at the same time,
they modified so many things also, but something else.
Yeah, I guess I just don't want to hear the Japanese version or the English version or any version ever again.
Yeah.
Because I just wonder, you know, like NIS America, how much should they change anyway? You know, like I sometimes wonder.
It's not just NIS. For your information, I've been following since the beginning, and it's the same team that worked at Exceed at first. So they basically transferred from Exceed to Nisa, and this is I don't want to name any names, but I actually questioned. I sent questions. We could just call them. We could call them H. Yeah,
I guess,
H.
if you want.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say H, and I remember. yeah. Can you help me? What is the time code?
The one who came up with Beauty's Blade and the Retributive
Yes, the same person. And actually, like, I also like asked a funny question that was more for trolling, because in Japanese when we try to speak French as bleu blanc. They sound like, you know, they're trying, but in English it's so fucking butchered, it's not even funny. And I was asking, like, is it so hard to even try? Like, I have plenty of American friends.
That was them. I remember you saying this. I didn't know it was them that you talked. I learned that this person existed recently.
Yeah, and that is and
some of this.
They do like so many weird decisions, and they just say, it's not natural. Like we want. Why did you change Sarah's S-craft to like? What is it? It was supposed to be Omega Eclair, which is, you know, Eclair is lightning in French. And when someone asked her, she said, you know, we don't want to name an attack after a pastry. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know it's a pastry too, but like it's first and foremost lightning. Oh fuck.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyways, same person, so you know who's responsible for a lot of it. But
I recently learned of their existence and their influence on this, and like they were originally Exceed and now they're Nisa. I guess it got them the job, and I remember thinking, oh, so they work freelance, and I thought, okay, not NIS then, but I was like, oh wait, no, it is NIS. I'm working freelance for them. And then I looked at like the extent to which NIS likes to mess with scripts. I learned about the censorship. I learned about everything else. I went into detail in my video, but what I didn't really talk about much was just, how do I put this? Because I don't want it to seem like a personal attack, because I made sure not to mention their name.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the time code now, because I don't want to forget.
Yeah. It's a good thing I told you. I was thinking, nah, he's gonna edit that out, but I thought better tell him. He's like, oh yeah, he said the name. So I'll just call them them.
Yeah.
Them, there, that kind of shit, so people don't know the gender. Everyone knows what it fucking is anyway. This fan base is a little island, but you know, it's best because I just don't want people to say, Luke, you're leading a witch hunt, you know, against this poor NIS. No, they're narcissistic. I'm not going to call them a narcissist. I'm going to say they are narcissistic. They don't need to go to this extent. They've let it go to their head. They think that they're a Trails expert and they're like this big old fucking legend. You're not. You translate games. Just stop fucking with our games.
Yeah.
Stop fucking with them. Make them easy to understand. I don't care what you think elevates it. It's not about elevating it. How fucking dare you say, oh, your work looks... Apparently it seemed a bit plain in English. It was plain, they said, so they elevated it. You narcissist.
I know.
What are you doing? What are you doing with our game?
Back then, when Cold Steel 1 came out and it was still Exceed, a lot of fans at the time that were Exceed fans, they were not even Falcom fans. The one that played the game, they thought the game was made by Exceed, a lot of them, to show you how, whatever. And we used to stream the games in Japanese when they came out, and some guys would like come in, one of my friends stream, Kevin or mine, and they would say like, oh, it's so much better in English, like it elevates the game so much, like this is really inferior, like Exceed does so much better. And I'm just thinking, god damn it.
Oh man, that makes me just want to shove my beauty's blade right up my arsehole.
Yeah, I know.
Dude. And then visit the retributive tower while I
This is just god. I'm remembering all these memories and it's making me cringe.
It's so bad, and then their justification, they really show their face on Twitter these days. They don't even hide it anymore. They don't even see how it can be perceived that way.
Yeah.
I made an analogy. I make a lot of analogies. Some of them aren't so shit. This one I liked. It was localizers are like football referees. If you don't notice them, they've done a fantastic fucking job.
Yep.
And I'm gonna hold myself to that forever now.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
There are a few exceptions, like they make a really good call that, a referee sometimes makes a great call and you look at the referee and you go, oh, that's a good fucking call. But that's very rare. Mm-hmm. Most of all, the good calls are the ones you don't notice.
Yeah.
Because it just lets the game flow, literally in this case. But, another thing I came up with is I asked myself, because I've heard this quite a few times, I mentioned the censorship and that's when people get political. But I sort of dug my way out of that potential argument by, prefacing the video where I mentioned it by saying, well, I'm not politically radical, but what I will say is, how do I put this? When it comes to censorship, there's a certain amount of people, usually on Reddit, usually terminally online. I'm going to be honest, I see them on there all the time. It's always the same names, and they'll say things like, well, how you can't point out where the censorship was, and I'm like, they've admitted to doing it. And also, I've seen loads of side-by-sides, usually on 4chan or Twitter. Not that I spend all that much time on Twitter, to be honest, but I see the side-by-sides, I see what the original script said when just plain translated, and I think there's a Trails in a database or something, some website where you can see it all, but I'm not combing through millions of lines, because I don't need to now, because NIS admitted it.
Yeah.
They change things.
Oh, not just censorship, they change things for no reason sometimes. They just do it for whatever reason.
Well, we mentioned that one, so I figured I'd mention the censorship too, and that's just it really did get how do I put this? It got me wound up. It really did, because I remember thinking, I used to look at Falcom, and then NIS is one of the places where you could escape this kind of shit.
Yeah.
But then I realized NIS America is based in California, and I thought, oh, fuck me then. It's all over anyway. But the thing is, another argument I hear, before I stop and let you talk for a bit, well, the other argument is, well, they don't censor everything, and I'm like, I used to think maybe it's just really incompetent.
It could be worse, basically.
Yeah, it could be worse. Other games do it too. It's not really bad. It's not really bad. But it's like, well, I thought it was incompetence at first. I was like, well, they're incompetent at everything. Reverie came out a buggy fucking mess. Maybe they just couldn't get around to censoring as much as they wanted.
It took them 3 years to do it, and it's still buggy.
So I think they make the patches worse.
Yeah.
I think like they just somehow manage. Everything they touch turns buggy. Maybe they're Bethesda like cast-offs or something. Oh, now I'm getting mean. Well, I haven't mentioned their name. I can get fucking mean. They're mean to me when they censor my games and put stupid shit in it.
I know.
The thing is, I think now I have a new theory. My new theory is they would, if they could, censor fucking everything.
Yeah.
They would remove these scenes from the games, but Falcom take a very hands-off approach.
Yeah.
They don't even communicate directly with the English-speaking audience. I doubt they have a fucking clue. I doubt Kondo even knows that there's a group of people in the West who make content on Trails.
Yeah.
I doubt he even reads through it. I doubt they even speak fucking English. I don't think they do, actually. I think he needed a translator.
They don't, yeah.
I wouldn't quote me on that, but I don't think they do. So that means they obviously don't know, very likely, alright, I shouldn't say, I think they're very unlikely to know exactly what NIS America is doing and what kind of company they are. And I don't think NIS America are a very ethical company, not that many companies are, but I think NIS are one of the worst when it comes to ethics. I'm sure they have nice people there, I'm sure they do. But when it comes to ethics from the top down, they have a culture of narcissism and political correctness, and it runs through that fucking company like a cancer, like a fucking septium vein.
Sounds like California to me.
Well,
sorry, but not sorry.
I guess you're not wrong, but when it comes down to it, I think the reason they don't censor more is because then
because of Falcom, yeah.
Then they would step in. If Falcom got word that like this had been removed and that had been removed, eventually they would notice.
Yeah.
But I sometimes want it. Other than that, I just wonder what extent do Falcom even know about
everything they altered releases and changed and hidden and whatever.
Yeah, like, do they even take an interest in it? Because like you look at how close they work with Cloud and Leopard Entertainment with the Chinese releases, they're doing these panels with them. Like I swear they get the release super early now. Almost, it might be a joint simultaneous release. If not, it's a lot quicker than we get them.
Oh yeah.
And I think, well, that's because they have a longer relationship. And I think, so they've got them, and I imagine they keep in firm contact. They get the script really early. NIS is, they don't care.
No.
They don't care about us. They don't care about what NIS do. And it just makes you wonder why people go to such lengths to defend it.
I don't know.
When all of these things are so apparent and can be easily proven by their actions. Look at all the shit NIS has done. They released fucking Crossbell arc, the Crossbell arc in the West. In a fucking, it was a state. It looked like a bodge job. I remember the first thing I did was open up that title screen and I'm like, oh, the aspect ratio is way fucking off. Nice. Oh, the title screen isn't even properly aligned. Oh, the zeros are missing in the fucking timer. And I'm like, wow, this is only about 5 minutes in. And then more things. And then I thought to myself, and you've got the fact that it released on PC and PS4 in completely different states.
Yeah.
The PC version was like this fucking souped up version.
Yeah.
It was like a fucking Nissan Primera. And then you got a little Nissan Micra from the fucking 70s or whenever they came out. You know, and honestly, I probably prefer the Micra.
Does it still exist, the Primera? That was a car when I was a kid in the 90s, but I don't remember seeing it.
I just thought of, I'm thinking of touring cars,
so
the PS1
funny.
game.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah. Same generation, yeah. Toka touring car, maybe.
Yeah, but it's millennial shit, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
The Zoomers don't understand, they're too busy with it.
Boomers.
Yeah, boomer talk. But yeah, I just wonder, you know, they didn't even mention that to us. It's like, hey, should we tell the customer who's buying this game that they would be better, you know, better served buying the PC version? They didn't fucking tell us, and that PC version was worlds above it. And all I got from people was who were averse to me pointing it out was, well, if you don't like it, buy the PC version. I'm like, that's not the point. The point is they should tell people so they know which one to buy.
Yeah.
Some people were in the comments saying, thanks, I'm going to get a refund, get the PC version. They didn't tell us.
One thing...
They don't give a fuck. And then they take down the fan translation. Oh, they're fucking shit.
On top of it,
please stop me.
Did you know that the fan translation was the original one, meaning that Yuna had to be implemented and retconned? So, I don't know, I think it probably fucked things up as well, I would imagine, since they had to replace an NPC that was Lloyd's neighbor by Yuna and like have these cameos, whatever, and try to like, you know, I would assume in terms of coding, since the fan translation was like not made for Yuna, because it's kind of a meme, you know, in the older fans that actually played the games before. Yuna is like this anomaly, this like, you know, it's I call it the pink stain. That just like she just arrived one day and was like, I know everybody. Oh yeah, what's up, Lloyd Senpai? And then who the fuck are you? But anyways, and so when they had to localize those versions, they also had to do that because again, it's not like porting the Falcom version that they made, like, you know, the Kai PS4 Kai version. Because of the script, you know what I mean? And I think they either had to take the vanilla version and do something, or they had to like reverse engineer the Falcom version, the Kai version, and also implement the original script but add other things. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. But you can thank Falcom for that.
It's a massive mess.
Yeah, you can thank Falcom for that, but it's not Nisa's fault. It's just the writing was so shit. They were like, oh, whatever, who's Yuna? Was she even in the games? Oh, I don't know, whatever, we'll just deal with it later. You know? They needed a Crossbell connection, and they were like, okay, we'll just do that. Whatever. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But anyways, it's, yeah.
It's a mess all around. I think that's what I'm getting.
It
It's
is.
like, and what I hate is like if you can't point it out without getting lumped in with the weirdos. Like with the Trails community in particular.
Oh,
I say community, but there are some really weird dudes, and we're gonna get lumped in with them, even though we can actually point to what we're saying.
yeah.
I can put all the work I want into.
They'll just say, I disagree. They won't say much. They'll just say, I disagree, but you don't know why. And they won't say anything to prove anything. They just say, I disagree. Okay.
6 upvotes for disagreeing.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
That's what I've seen on my end anyway, with that type of stuff.
Yeah, they'll throw shit out there, and then you say, okay, in what way? Like somebody said that I treated Trails unfairly in a video, and I was like, if you don't point out where I was unfair, I can't meaningfully engage with the comment. And then somebody underneath said something equally stupid, and I was like, I just went off on him. I was tired. I'm tired. I'm still getting people saying, I'm still getting comments. It's like last time, but this time, you know, I was like, okay, I no longer private videos. I accept that I don't like my voice. I just that's why.
The same for me, man. I hate my voice so fucking much. I have no idea when I hear it. What?
Yeah, and even today, I'm getting the comments like, you're overlooking like how Trails in the Sky. This is like, no, I just didn't point it out because it wasn't as bad back then.
Yeah.
And like, I can point to all these things, but you know, you always have someone getting on that little thing.
And they try to use it as much as they can to argue with you, right? They try to find that really stupid little thing and try to twist it really like
tiniest thing.
You know, just like they try to back themselves up the best way they can, but
it's madness.
Yeah.
It's actual. I swear, there's actual schizophrenia in this. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The shit that people have said. Like somebody once argued with me. I don't remember which rant it was because I've done like 5 in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Someone actually argued the case that it's okay to drag out a mystery for 19 years and not answer it.
Fuck.
And it's like 12 games, no mysteries answered. You're saying that's okay. And they actually said, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe they are dragged out at like a snail's pace, like that's suitable for geriatrics or something like that. Like something like, and I'm like, you've just proven yourself wrong. You've just literally said my argument for me. And a lot of them, the problem is that the reason I sound so fucking pissy about it, because I've been dealing with it for so long.
I know.
I've been dealing with so many mean-spirited pricks. And it makes me appreciate the nice people more, and even the people who disagree, but actually they'll communicate why they disagree.
Yeah.
We can actually have a chat. There are some people like that in the family, there really are, and that's where the fun is, because you know you can talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you know, we found common ground. But so many people, I think they're just fucking angry like me, but they don't realize it yet, or they don't want to admit it. That the series has gone this shit, demonstrably worse, somebody pointed out, and I was like, yeah, I agree. I think they just don't want to admit it, so they're directing their anger towards me, no matter how well I communicate and illustrate and I guess just put forth my ideas in general.
Yeah.
And no matter how well I formulate the video, I will take notes. I'll always take notes. I'll put them down and I'll read them out. But I'll also leave open room for like just ad-libbing, because I don't want to be reading from a legitimate script all the time. I need to, you know, the best things happen when you're not reading from a script, so I'll take notes instead. It's just little notes and stuff like that. But so many people, they come in like fucking pistol loaded, you know, and they want to have a fucking go, and they'll start saying all these things, and it's like, alright, I'm going to be a bit of a dick too. And it's like, I'm just tired. And so that's why I'm glad that we finally had this one last little fucking moan. Because it's like, it's really helped me to see just how fucking little people expect.
Yeah.
The expectations are...
It blows my mind, actually. I wanted to talk about this. I'm sure you felt the same way in some kind of capacity, but when I started playing the games, and even after a few years, I loved, taking my time. I've always been fine with, nothing much happens, but it's fine, you take the world in, the characters, as long as there is something at the end of the tunnel, that's something that, where it leads to some kind of conclusion and payoff. You want that payoff. And back in the day, I still had that payoff. When I played Trails in the Sky, I felt so good finishing Trails in the Sky. And I love, games that can take their time. I never had issues. So when people say, you're just not patient, blah, blah, blah. But now it's so different. Like, you get all this fucking filler and nonsense that leads to nothing. And I'm like, why am I wasting all this time? To get what at the end? Nothing. I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, I know why a lot of other people do, and that's just the sunk cost fallacy. You've sunk so much time into it and so much money that, the idea is, well, I'll hold out for a little bit longer because then...
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. You know that, right?
I was too for a long time. I started noticing this shit was a bit bad. When I played the old games, actually, when I went back and played them, I was like, oh wow, this is the quality of the stuff here. And even though they felt like a bit of a drag, I remember Sky the Third and the writing in that one, I was like, fuck, this is good.
Yeah.
And that was the least Trails game in existence, and I think that really clinched it for me. So I think I know what you mean there.
Yeah. And where was I going with this? But yeah, I'm just wondering, when I see people being fine with it, I'm like, how can you be fine? I don't understand. Maybe like if you're a new fan, I guess, because when you've been around and dedicated so much time, you don't really see it the same way as someone that just discovered it. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. It feels like you're being deceived when you play the game now. Back then, back then you're like, okay, you're in this like big journey and it feels great. The music is great. You love the characters, whatever. Yeah, you still have the same bullshit now and then, but you can deal with it. Like, it's something that's there, but there's so much to love about it. You're just okay with it.
Yeah. There's this unspoken promise that it's going somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
Grand. There's going to be this great big payoff, not just with characters, but with the
everything.
mystery,
Yeah,
build it
everything. It's just a big picture, like the whole picture of like the story, the world, the characters, but everything just there's really this this picture, and then at one point they just like basically shit all over it. Pretty much, and just say, okay, this is fine, all right? This is fine. You'll love it.
You said deceived. I think that's a good way of saying it. One thing I came up with was I felt a bit betrayed. I think betrayed and deceived.
Exactly. That's both. That's what I feel like.
Oh, it sounds like a fucking bullet for my Valentine.
Or trivia. We are the deceived.
Yeah. Your betrayal, and we need to make a mashup of those two.
Oh yes.
Your deceitful betrayal.
Did you know Bullet for My Valentine in the last album did a song called My Reverie?
No.
They did.
That's brilliant. Oh shit. Oh, it all comes together. This is the Grandmaster's true plan.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess when it comes down to it, I try to accept that we were stuck with a company in Falcom, the developers, who just didn't give a shit anymore about the English fan base, or English-speaking fan base in the West, and they had picked one of the worst localizing companies they could possibly pick, who, despite their passion for some things, have a bigger passion for censorship and taking down fan translations than they do for making good games.
Pretty much.
Or rather, translating well. And it got me thinking about how, really, when it comes down to it, why should I care then?
Exactly. Why should you care? That's it.
That was what I kept asking myself, and then I thought, well, I've invested from Cold Steel up to Cold Steel 4, then back, Sky, Crossbell, Cold Steel again, Reverie. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to let Naruto come out. I'm not going to touch it. Kuro, that's so far in the future, I don't even know if I'll be alive. People keep saying in the video I made in the comments, just drop it, take a break, and it's like, I literally said in the video.
That you are.
That's where.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I get that people can't watch the whole video, but I do make timestamps.
Yeah.
So that.
Attention span, man.
it makes me think about the fan base as a whole. And I remember that video I did where I ripped into him, and I just wonder if that was the moment where I just kind of let Trails die. I don't know if I'll ever play another one again. It seems very unlikely.
Same.
I've just started playing fucking 13 Sentinels. That has had me on the edge of my fucking seat. I'm exhausted by it because it's just, they're not telling you anything at the start, but then little bits here and there, here and there, here and there. And you won't really understand it till the end. I'm nearly at the end, and I think I'm finally grasping it. But the answers, the mysteries, they're fucking mind-blowing. It's not perfect, and there are some things I didn't like about it, but at the same time, they didn't deceive me.
Yeah.
They hooked me in with the mysteries, and then they're like, okay, we're going to give you the answers, but we're not going to spoon feed them to you. You've got to work for it, you've got to use your brain, and maybe you'll come up with them before we tell you. And it's like, I like that. You're respecting my intelligence. Even if you're making it really difficult, you're respecting me as a fucking, I guess, consumer.
You said respect.
Player.
I think that's also very fitting. I feel so disrespected, especially when I played Cold Steel 4. That's where I felt really disrespected when I played that fucking game. I swear. I'm not even joking. At the time, in 2018, so for me that was much earlier in Japan, when I got my copy and started playing the game, I felt like this was a dream. Like, this is a joke, right? I'm dreaming. This is a joke. This cannot be real. And I swear, like, I had this moment of like, I just realized this is the fucking game. I had this moment and I was like, fuck.
Was it around? For me, I had that similar moment, but it was around the time I was doing a bunch of filler quests. Reen had just come back into the party in Cold Steel 4. I was doing Let's Plays at the time, and I didn't record any of this, and I just didn't fucking want to. Oh, I clipped my knee. That felt good. But yeah, it's I was like, why should I do this? Like, you've got the side quest where Gilbert tries to get an Aaron village. That was very, very fun. But other than that, it's like, do these side quests, talk to this disposable NPC, blah, 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 blah. I was like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? What's their goal?
I think
where
also
are they
I had this moment when you know that quest or whatever where Elliot is healing a horse with his violin. And I was just in front of my screen like, what the fuck? Like,
where the fuck are we going with this, eh?
And also another moment I had was with, of course, the Hearts Bond event, where I'm just going from one to the other and thinking, why am I doing this? This is fucking shit. What is this game?
Like, there's a fucking evil secret, potentially evil, like, we don't know if they're evil because they're so mysterious. We've got a secret society with all sorts of plans that are fucking up the world one by one, with a crazy grandmaster at the helm that we know nothing about. They've got all these anguisses with all these plans. You've got the enforcers, which have so much depth. They're like fucking Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts, except we know even less about them. And it's like, oh, it really is a bootleg Kingdom Hearts. Holy shit, it really is a bootleg Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Even Organization 13 is basically Ouroboros. You've got all of these things going on. You've got all this geopolitical stuff. You've got the nations on the cusp of war.
Yeah.
What do? Let's go to fucking lay locally in and get some fucking ingredients for this fucking old hag's fish pie.
And find this lost cat that the lady at the local street.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're on the verge of war with Calvert, but this little kitten is missing and we're gonna get it home. And it's like they can't keep up with themselves. I think my theory is they have a rotation of new writers, each more shit than the last.
I'm sure it.
And I've looked it up because we can't tell the difference between a director, a producer, and a writer. But what I can tell is that they change every bloody arc, and that Kondo used to be the director, and those games are probably the most coherent. Kondo, the man who likes to lie and blah blah blah. I think it was
Sky.
All is
that's what back in Sky when Kondo was still in steering the ship, let's say.
Yeah, apparently he was the director in thingy, and also there's a certain role he takes in the East games, and they just happen to be pretty well-rounded stories, even if they do have their Falcom isms. And I just thought to myself, how long am I going to put up with this? These new writers that are probably brought in, we don't know because they're not transparent. I doubt they're even transparent with the Japanese audience. They just don't care, and we'll never find out these things unless you like learn Japanese or well, fuck, that's the only way, really. Or just rely on unreliable translations.
Yeah.
And even their composers, I can't tell you who made the songs that I'm fucking making remixes
It's pretty
of.
hard, yeah.
Because apparently there's this.
Oh, they lost a composer recently too. I think one of them. I don't know if he quit the job or if he got laid off.
Was it Sonata?
Yes, and so we have even more Mitsuo Singa. Fuck yes, Kinga.
Oh,
Kinga
man.
is back, man. We're gonna get more Kinga.
Yeah. Singa is like. I'm sorry, Kinga. Kinga is like. Some of his songs are just so.
I'm joking. I'm not a hater, by the way. I'm just joking because it's a meme.
I know. We're nuanced.
Yeah.
I think we can. Everyone with a brain can agree that he's the Hideo Kojima of music. What he's going to do is either going to be absolute trash or one of the best things you've heard.
I still cannot get over Eclusion Dance from Isate. Sorry. That's
He is. It's so weird how he can be such a master, but such a beta.
Yes, at the same time.
He's the masturbator. And I don't get how he does it. It's really weird. I think it's just his proclivity for it. If he had like a producer and he was making albums, that producer would be, no, lay off the tremolo on the fucking guitar.
Yeah.
Do not press that tremolo pedal.
I think I got an idea. Actually,
get the gun. What's the idea?
Because, as I understand, I'm not really an expert. I don't know what's going on inside Falcom really, but I heard some things. And
they don't either.
So the thing about Mitsuo Singa is that he's been hired for most of the soundtracks nowadays and for a while, and he's basically being paid like, let's just say his music is by the pound. You know what I mean? I mean by the kilo, I should say.
Maybe it's by the note, and that's why he uses the fucking tremolo.
So I think he has this like templates, like the way he like writes his music. I could be completely wrong because I write and record my compositions with audio only. Like I don't do MIDI mapping, but I think what he does is like he has this like big template on his DAW, DAW. And what he does is like, so Singa, you're gonna have to do like 5 billion tracks for the next game. So we're counting on you. You need to finish them next month, okay? Yeah, sounds good. And that's basically why we end up with such fast food type music sometimes. And like,
that's a brilliant analogy. That is.
I think that's what's going on because he's actually a very competent composer. When he gets when he gets really serious and takes time, but then again when you have like 4 like based Jindo tracks and the rest is all on Singa, gotta deliver what's been ordered. So yeah, I think that's what's happening really. Could be wrong. That's just a theory I have, a game theory.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. With the music though, it's really a mixed bag. I mean, I actually it's funny. I've been writing a list of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time, and Trails didn't make it into the top 10. They'd probably be number 11, but I wanted a 10 instead of a 20. But there are some songs that it's because like for a soundtrack to go onto like a top 10, it needs to be filled with like really. Oh, I need to put my mic down. There we go. It needs to be filled with really good songs, not just 1 or 2, but.
Cold Steel 1 for me is like filled with good songs. That game is just one of my favorite music-wise. I loved it so much.
Well, I've had that thing with essentially most Trails soundtracks since Mitsuo Singa came about. But just in the modern age too. I mean, that one you did a cover of, Fantasy Realm. I'm actually fuck it, I might as well just talk about it. I don't know about you, but this might be a thing that you could do for your channel if you ever like to. I've decided I'm going to make like I've seen a lot of other. I am borrowing the concept. I'll admit that much. It's something I've wanted to do for a while because I saw somebody do it years ago. It's like an hour or so, just like JRPG music. Like usually people do like peaceful, but I'm thinking of like an hour of really beautiful JRPG music because then I can do like any genre, everything from like Nier to Final Fantasy to Trails, all sorts of different things. Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking of doing. And then like I spent most of my free time today just coming up with a list. Not many Cold Steel or like Trails songs in general made it onto the list, but one that did was Zero Encounter. I'm going to write it down just in case I didn't.
There's so many that sometimes.
Yeah, and the other one was the one you did a cover of, Fantasy Realm from Kuro too.
Okay.
But I don't know who did Fantasy Realm. I'll see if they credit them.
I can't tell, to be honest. Maybe go on the Falcom music channel. Maybe we often mention who.
Now they think it's Sonoda. I said Sonata. Sonoda.
Okay, which supposedly left.
Sonoda. Yeah. But there's this new one. There's a song called Zero Encounter in Trails and a Reverie that really made me like fucking the hair stand up on end. I was like, holy shit, this is good. And that was apparently by they say Shuntaro Koguchi.
Oh, Koguchi. Okay, yeah.
Apparently the new guy.
Yeah.
So it's like we know they're bringing in new people because you can tell by the style of the music. Like you can tell a singer song from a mile away. Unless he does a song that sounds like some people have actually. I swear there's that one dude, Mon Blue, who moans about Singa, and I swear at one point he was saying like, "Oh yeah, this is good," and he didn't realize it was actually a Singa song.
Funny.
And I can't remember which one it was. It was either Reddit or YouTube, but every Singa track on Falcom Music Channel, just go there.
I know.
And you scroll to the bottom. He's always right down the bottom,
hating on it.
Another Singa track.
And also, is it the same guy that said Inclusion Dance was just an accident? It's not on purpose.
Probably. Probably. Yeah, Singa had a stroke while he was trying to compose. It's like, and the doctor like, I'm sorry, you have Occlusive Dance Syndrome. And Singa was like, the light bulb went off on his head, or above it rather. Yeah. And then it fell on his head and gave him a concussion. Yes. And then in his dream, Occlusive Dance was born. He came up with the chorus too. Yeah, he's part genius, part average. It's a weird thing. Yeah. But I will say, man, it's sad, but there was a point when that Zero Encounter song, maybe I can even, I've got it downloaded. We can put it in the podcast at this point, actually, because I know you like to put music in the background. But Zero Encounter, there's just something about it. It implies that something was going to happen in Reverie. It just felt so exciting. I was like, Trails is doing something new. Yeah. It's doing something new. This is the kind of thing I wanted. It was this one song.
Oh yeah, that's
it sounds beautiful, but it's uneasy too. It's the chords a little dissonant. I think it's some sort of musical
the
trick.
dissonance, the chromatic notes, whatever.
It's somebody's put it's genuinely unsettling, but rings of sadness. And I think, apparently you had 10 rejected tracks. Where do people get this information? I'd love to hear that. But yeah, it's a really beautiful song, and it really gets across this unnerving unease to Trails, and that's where Trails soundtracks shine.
I know.
And it was telling a story. What
it makes you feel so many things, and then you get nothing in the end.
Yeah, all the possibilities just started running in my head. I'm like, wait, why are all these impossible things happening? Yeah. Because I could deal with Lloyd's shitty arc, because you had Rufus's arc, which is fucking incredible, and then Reed's, which is boring, but at the same time, it was like, but we've got this new music. You've got this crazy shit happening. And all of the rehashing and all that, I was like, it's okay, because we're going somewhere new. And this music was the perfect embodiment of that. And I can't tell you how disappointed I was, because this is the music that played, and we already warned people to spoilers anyway. This music played when the final boss was revealed to be Reen from the other arc, and I was like, oh no. And that's when Trails died. That was the very moment when Reen was like, call me Ishmael Gareen, and he did that stupid fucking thing with his eyes to try and say, somebody screen capped it and made a funny version of it on Falcom 4chan. But that song simultaneously gave me hope for the series and then killed it. Oh. It's so weird. Yeah. Because I started to see all of the things that Trails could and should have been. I know. With that one song. All of that uncertainty came back. The same uncertainty. It reminds me of Astor House from Sky the Third. It's like, no, this is that weird eeriness. I thought about how the Grandmaster is on the cover, and I'm like, are we going to finally learn about this? It's been so long, 16 years. They're finally going to do it. And then, all these crazy things that shouldn't be possible. About that, it's an AI. It was powered by the war and the Septian veins and blah blah. It's an AI. Oh, God, yeah. And I'm like, and then they're like, also it's Reen from the other timeline. I'm like, good God, it's fucking Reen. It all comes back to Reen. An AI and Reen, fucking Reen. All of this was just for this, and you can hear it in my highlight video. I was crushed. I admit I was fucking crushed. I was devastated, man.
I knew this was coming when you said you were about to play a game. I was just like, yeah.
You knew, and I remembered you saying try not to expect too much. You were trying to soften the blow for me, but I fell headfirst into it anyway. I couldn't believe that I'd spent all that time, all of those little things I was coming up with in my head that would have been infinitely fucking more interesting to me.
Oh yeah.
I won't say better because, you know, I don't want to be like NIS America, but they would have been more interesting. And it's like, this is it.
Of all
This
the
is what
things
I
it could have
invested.
been, this is what we got.
Thousands of hours, years gone.
You know what's
This is what
hard
we
for
got.
me? Actually, it might sound funny, but it's like when I stare in my collection room at my shrine, like my Falcom shrine, and all the years of passion and dedication and all that stuff that piled up on this thing, and then I look at it and all the money too, like a lot of fucking money. And,
Seeing it staring back at you.
and
Yeah.
then I'm just like, fuck. It feels, honestly, it kind of hurts, I'll be honest. It's just like, fuck, man, I don't know. This is what I'm saying.
does.
I feel deceived and betrayed.
It's a betrayal.
Yeah.
It's a deceitful betrayal. It's Bullet for My Valentine
Yeah,
and
and
Trivium
Trivium, yeah.
crossing over. It's the crossover, man. It's emo rock.
Yes.
It's a fucking
Emo
betrayal. and I get you.
metalcore.
Yeah, it's the emo metalcore
Yeah.
rock for Falcom,
Yes.
where they just betray us. But you know, some people like it, but to them I say, how could you possibly be okay with them not answering the overarching mysteries?
Because all the Reen
after
fans
19
are
years?
happy. Reen is so Chad that, you know, the only good thing could be a boss, you know, like this, you know, that the Reen is only, you know, it can only be Reen, right? Only Reen is badass enough to be a boss, you know? Oh, God.
I can't wait for him to turn up and kill Van in Kuro
And
4.
steal all the bitches as well, and Shizuna, and also beat Shizuna as
Bro.
well, you know?
That was a guess of mine, him and Shizuna. But, you know, just guesses at this point. That's the only thing I'm interested in, just to see if they're, like, lame enough to actually go that route. But then it's like, no, he's got to die a virgin to ascend to godhood, you know, as we said. But I guess I should preface this, because people will probably say, well, just because you didn't like it, that doesn't mean it's bad. And I'm like, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because it was rehashed ideas from before.
Made worse.
barely
It's
anything new
basically
to
the
it.
same thing worse. That's it.
Yeah, there weren't enough
Discounted.
new ideas to justify its existence.
Mm-hmm.
Its existence was basically because they couldn't clear things up with what they called the end of the saga. Cold Steel 4,
Yeah.
end of saga, that's what they called
It's
it.
not an end to
couldn't
anything.
clear it up.
Yeah. It's called the end of saga.
Yeah, and then what do? They dawdle for fucking ages with these new writers, and the only thing I can say about it that I genuinely enjoyed was Rufus's arc.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that, good for you.
And when I see people saying, "Oh, this was the best send-off ever to these characters," I want to bang my head against my desk when I see that.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
yeah, the characters, a lot of them, I will admit, if you're into just the characters, you'll probably be happy. But
not even
I
for
just,
me. I think it was a terrible send-off for the main characters. But
I think that's actually a fair point. I think I realized why I'm really angry with it.
Reen as well.
And I think it's
the worst
because-
is Reen to me.
Well, Reen went through so much change. He's still burdened.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But it's like, at the same time, it's the effect
Yeah.
Reen has on others. But Reen is just a sword that we can use to stab the bad writing. At the same time, I look at it and I just think, well, the reason I'm so annoyed is because I really like mystery.
Yeah.
I grew up, I watched Lost as a teenager.
Yeah, we mentioned
I got
it. I
hooked on it.
remember a few times. Lost, right?
Yeah, and The Leftovers is a really good show I'd recommend if you're okay with them not answering a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just straight up said, the guy who was like, yeah, we're not going to answer shit. They answered some stuff, and you can piece it together yourself, but Trails never made that commitment. And that's why most mysteries you read, they answer things.
You know?
And a big part...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, okay, go for it.
Because this reminds me, I have a friend that played a game that's, I think, 4 years older than Cold Steel 1. And it's a game that does the exact same thing as Cold Steel, about friendship, about, you know, overcoming things with friendship and mysteries and blah blah blah. And it's a game that nobody played that I really enjoy called Shining Resonance. and characters designed by Tony Taka, my favorite artist. So anyways,
I'm looking it up.
And the game did everything but better. It's not a masterpiece either. Like it's very, it's a JRPG, like an action RPG that's pretty, below average, I would even say. But at least it did everything in one game that Trails couldn't do in 5 games for Reen and his arc. And that really shows.
That's the thing, yeah.
That really shows. When my friend played that game, he got a revelation at the end of the game, and he was like, "Fucking hell! This is what should have happened with Cold Steel. Like, this game is like, this is just one fucking cheap game that did everything better than Cold Steel." And he was like, "I just can't believe this. A game from like 2010 that like did something that Falcom couldn't do in 5 games. That's insane."
The main character looks a bit like Kirigiri from Danganronpa, so oh, look at that cute girl with a wizard hat.
Yeah, Rina.
Oh, that's cute. I'm going to look into that.
But it's a fun
I get
game.
what you're saying.
And
it must have been nice, and I felt similar with 13 Sentinels, actually.
Yeah, I think we'll feel the same with a lot of games because, as you said earlier, Falcom is basically doing what everyone else did, but in a discounted version, like a cheap...
In their Falcom way of Falcomisms. Because they can't get over it. They can't stop putting the padding, I keep saying padding, the filler and the padding in. They can't stop it. They can't stop with their stupid ass fucking lame jokes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the girl slapped you because you saw her in a bad position.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
but it's okay, guys. East 9 just got its DLC announced. So go buy the swimsuit DLC. That's, ready before launch because we all know it's DLC and it's not already, planned since the beginning.
The fucking prices on that DLC.
It saves the game. That's all I wanted. This is all I wanted. Just swimsuit DLC. Fuck yeah, I'm sold. I'm gonna buy it.
You never have enough. You never have enough DLC for swimsuit. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I think the big point is I love mystery.
Yeah.
That's why I loved either Somnium Files. That's why I love 13 Sentinels.
Same.
Even if it does fucking frustrate me sometimes and I'm still not quite at the end of it. And I'm like, oh, gotta answer some more shit. But it's like, nah, they're making me work for it. But Trails makes you work for it. Work through tireless tedium.
Yeah.
Tens of hours, hundreds of hours of just crap with little great bits mixed in to make you think, oh, okay, I'm back, I'm going to finish this game.
Yeah.
They take too many liberties. And when it comes down to it, the reason I'm upset that they don't answer these mysteries is because they made them seem important.
Yeah, when it's not in the end. Yeah.
They've mentioned, I remember, I think the first mention of the Grandmaster, who I was obsessed with, was, I think it was Sky the Second.
Yeah.
I think that was when the Grandmaster and Ouroboros came about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything that happened before that was because of them, so they've been integral players in the whole thing. Their plans are at the center of everything that goes wrong, from Sky the Second, hell, Sky the First, Weissman, everything from Sky the First to the second to the third, then Crossbell 1 and 2.
And then Ouroboros became Ourobollocks.
Yeah, Ourobollocks. Ourobai, they're just
They're
gone.
just a joke now. They're basically a joke at this point, in my opinion.
They are.
Yeah.
It's like they position them as some crazy thing. And they talked about all of these different septarians, and now it's like, well, we're going to deal with them arc by arc. And it's like, okay, you take your time with that, mate. And if you don't go into bankruptcy beforehand, actually, if you do, write it on a postcard and tell us how you were going to end it. Because I have this sneaking suspicion, this feeling that they just won't survive the 2020s. And I could be wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that as like a full-on prediction. Yeah. It's just a feeling I have. And that the people who hang in there will eventually think, wait, where was it going? And Kondo, from a fucking whatever game company he goes to next, will go, no comment.
Imagine.
And that's how it will end. That'll be the last words we hear about from Trails.
A lot of manga, like, this happens unfortunately to a lot of manga artists where, like, they get cancelled and the series gets dropped. Sometimes I start manga, like, I like reading manga, but, like, zoomed in on my TV. And I like just, discovering some stuff, whatever. And sometimes I'm so sad because I get invested into a story and then it gets dropped. Oh, cancelled. Oh, fuck.
Oh, dude, that happened to me with a TV show. What was it called? Alcatraz. It was by the creators of...
Oh, I heard of this, I think.
Yeah, it was about the prisoner, like this. It was getting really good at some points, but they also dragged things along and made bad decisions, so it got
Then
cancelled.
you'll never get the answer because it's gone.
And it's like, they never said in an interview like where they were going to go with it. They never said, and for years now I've been like, fuck. I'm tempted to get season 1 on DVD, but it's like, why? Why torture myself?
Yeah.
I've done it with Trails now, and it's like,
imagine this happens with Trails and like they go bankrupt and we'll never get an answer anyway. You know, at this point, I'm actually convinced that what's happening is Falcom is trying to extend the life of the series as much as they can, because this is the only thing that remotely sells copies, let's be honest. Like, at this point, I think only Trails is able to give some kind of revenue, you know. The rest, they don't want to risk anything, and that's what I'm seeing. Like, maybe Ease, like you get an Ease every like 5 years or so.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? We would need the sales data. We get restricted data.
Yeah,
like we get certain
but this is
data
just like pure speculation, of course. I'm not saying it's a fact. But when you see like every year almost, look, 2017, Cold Steel 3, 2018, Cold Steel 4, I'm talking Japan, of course. 2020, so 2019 was Ease 9, 2020 Reverie, 2021 Kuro no Kiseki, 2022 Kuro no Kiseki 2. So almost in 6 years, that's 5 Trails games.
It could be that they need to keep pumping them out, otherwise they won't make any sort of
And here's the thing, if you want to say like, oh, but maybe they want to advance the story, no. With all that filler, I really doubt they try to like advance and like get ahead, you know?
They don't care about it. At this point, I think they just...
It's a discounted shonen. It's a shonen, you know, like those like 5,000 episode shonens that never go anywhere until they decide to end the show, kind of thing. I feel like this is basically that. Like they try to make it some kind of like big shonen.
Yeah, it's why I wish that Falcom was a subsidiary of a bigger company like Square. And I know that's a recipe for disaster, but it can't be any worse than this. I wish they were owned by like a Square Enix, Enix, I think it is, who make like the Final Fantasies, and they publish the Nier games. And I wonder, like, they wouldn't put up Falcom's shit. They'd be like, okay, you got to make this many games. But also, they'd see that they were doing crap. The thing is, Falcom are so private with their finances. They'll say things like, yes, this went above our expectations.
Which is probably a lie, let's be honest.
That means, well, even if it wasn't, it'd be fuck all. It's like, what are your expectations?
Yeah, true.
Probably perpetually low.
They sold more than one copy.
Like,
it was above expectations, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
I mean, one thing they did mention at one point, like that Kuro 2, I think it was, or Kuro in general, sold badly in, I think, Japan, and that a larger portion of their revenue than I even expected was from the Western audience, where you account for quite a percentage of it since they started, remembering we exist.
Yeah. This is why they hang on to
like,
Cold Steel, I guess, to this day, even when Kuro is the current game.
Yeah, giving it that shit fucking anime, yeah. It just makes me...
This didn't help at all.
It makes me laugh.
This did not help Falcom at all. This anime is an abomination. Honestly.
It was, and I was going to watch it, but then I just watched the Kiseki Nuts review.
Yeah, I did as well, because I was not willing to waste my time, watching this fucking train wreck. I am so angry at this series anyways that I just don't have the willpower to dedicate my time to watch this fucking anime.
That's the thing, man. I'm at that point too where I'm still a bit angry, but getting off my chest like this and on that video, it's like...
It's good.
I'm finally at a point, because I think the anger from me stemmed from the fact that, I was really attached to it. We get really attached to our favourite things,
yeah,
you know.
Of course.
You know, I think people who say touch grass, I think they're just afraid of admitting that they're passionate about things, because there's an apathy to this world these days that I've noticed. That's gotten more and more.
Badly.
You know, you want to like, oh, I'm not bothered by anything. You get it from Zoomers a lot, but luckily I'm friends with a few Zoomers who don't do that shit.
I know.
But honestly, people our age too, and people older, I think I'm picking on the Zoomers a little too much.
It's just fun to pick on Zoomers, isn't it?
Well, it's a recurring theme about everyone, isn't it? But I found that, like, now that I can finally admit, I really, really cared about Trails. And I remember the Grandmaster at the end of Cold Steel 4, and I was like, I was genuinely like, okay, is this someone we know? That was the big thing. It was like they built this up for so long, and then it kind of faded to black, and I'm like, oh, that's it. And then I had that again in Reverie. After waiting ages and going through and playing the Crossbell games felt like a chore.
Yeah.
But I did it, But I'm at this point now where I'm finally able to do what I couldn't do before. But it took a lot of pain and heartbreak, because what I wanted to do was just say, oh, I'm just fucking done, I don't care. But now that I know a lot of what happens in Kuro, like there's a lot of spoilers on Falcom subreddit, 4chan, the Falcom channel. I've noticed that I'm not as bothered when I see something that looks a bit spoilery. I just don't care.
Yeah.
In fact, you played two, right? You played both? Alright, I'll tell you what I've seen. People are mentioning space and time travel, and I couldn't give a... That's all I know. But I couldn't give a fuck. It's like, oh, you're going to muddy the waters even more.
Yeah,
we're introducing fuck. You already have multiple fucking worlds, and you can't get to the point, and now you're going to introduce time travel.
Sad,
it's like they have gone fucking insane if this is where they're going, because they have pulled it out their fucking ass. They've never so much as vaguely alluded to it. They're going full Kingdom Hearts. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have a revolving door of writers. They don't give a fuck anymore. They are just dragging us out as much as they fucking can.
Exactly.
And so why the fuck should I be invested if you can't even stick to your original vision?
I know.
And I just got to the point where it's finally like, I don't care. When I realised I don't care about Kuro spoilers, I realised I don't really care about the future trails as much. I think I'm fucking done.
Me too.
I don't give a fuck who the Grandmaster is anymore.
You know what?
I don't give a fuck what Ouroboros' plan is. They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same. I unfortunately have a problem though. It's this.
Unless it's Mishi. Mishi, that would be.
Yeah, Mishi.
That bring me back.
But more seriously though, like what kind of breaks my heart, to be honest, is this is basically the very last game series that I'm still able to play to some extent, like that I can finish on easy mode. I tried Kuro 2 recently, and like these tailing missions drive me fucking insane because I always lose the target, like
tailing missions.
Yeah, like in Judgment, because it's another trend.
Yeah,
so we gotta use that trend.
That'll make us. Yeah, that's a mainstream thing.
Yeah, let's do that.
Get you going.
But anyways, it's so I was really struggling, and I got a moment, like I was playing Kuro 2, and I'm like, why am I trying so hard and suffering through this fucking game? For what? Like, why am I playing this? And I put my controller down, I turned off the console and never came back to the game. And the thing is, like, I'm so sad because, again, as I said, I've had some of my best gaming memories with this series. This is, to me, something that was my escapism, in the sense that I can never do anything with my vision, with my handicap. I am so limited. And for once in my life, I found a series that I could get invested in and play and finish and follow and shit. And then one day it's like I get slapped in the face, and this is what I get. So it's like, on one hand, I want to not give a fuck and just say I'm done. Fuck this shit, I don't care. But in reality, I do care deep down, because I was so passionate about it. This was my only thing left. Like even Ys, I cannot play Ys anymore. It's just too fast. I try games like Xenoblade. I would fall in the clouds all the time because I couldn't even navigate the map, and it kind of hurts. I have to accept it, of course. It's just my handicap, and there's nothing I can do about it. But fuck, man, Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It came out of nowhere, but it's.
No, I'm glad you were able to let it out. It's I feel the same, but without the retinitis pigmentosa.
Yeah. Wow, you actually remember. You're the only person I know that actually cares enough to remember the name of what I have.
That's
sorry.
It's only 8 syllables.
Yeah, I know, but people, what did you say you have again? Oh yeah, no, I forgot. What was it? That's often what happens.
Retinitis pigmentosa.
And
it sounds like
forget,
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
stuff.
they even forget that I'm legally blind or like going blind. They don't, you talk about it, and the next time it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
Like, did you see that movie? There's like. Not very well, no.
Oh god.
It's like,
I've been conditioned like that. Like, people drag me around and be like, oh Max, did you see that? And instead of saying no because I didn't see it, when I say I didn't see it, they're like, but Max, look closer, it's here. And I'm like, no, I don't see it. Max, here. I'm like, no, fuck, I cannot see it. How many times should I tell you I cannot see it? And they're like, but try again, I'm sure you can see it. No, I can't. Fuck.
It's like, alright, just tell them,
so,
alright, give me your eyes.
After that, I'm just like, oh yeah, cool, I'm just like, yeah, cool. And I just like,
yeah. Just say that.
I just pretend I saw it.
Give me your eyes for a second. Well, I guess that's better, but if you do feel like being sucky, just, okay, give me your eyes for a second.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, but
I got new glasses and like red and blue seem a little 3D now because my eyes are struggling to get used to it. So that's kind of cool.
Wow.
But yeah, it's when it comes down to it, this whole Falcom thing, it really has made me wake up.
Yeah.
And I thought about, you know, why a lot of the Trails fan base seems so fucking miserable. I think it's because there's this unspoken knowledge that we all have, all of us who are like in deep with Trails.
Yeah.
Kiseki. I almost call myself Lou Kiseki. It would be a good name if I decided to go down the rabbit hole again, which I fucking hope I don't. I don't think I will. But there's this knowledge that we all have, and it's that Trails is something that barely anyone knows about in the grand scheme, and that even things like Final Fantasy and Persona in the mainstream have only recently sort of become sort of mainstream. They're never going to compete, even those big JRPGs, they're never going to compete with the AAA, like the normie games. And so games like Trails, most people probably haven't even heard of it. Most people don't have a fucking clue. We are part of a tiny, tiny little group. And in that tiny little group is such a large substrata of miserable motherfuckers. And the only reason we're not one of them or two of them is because we can get on here and just talk about it and let it out. And then we get on with our shit. I did that last rant, now I'm done.
Yeah.
I said it was that. People keep saying, you know, oh, we'll have another one soon. I'm like, nope, that's it. I've said what I need to say. I'm done now.
I want to say as well, sorry, go on, I'll say after you.
I think I was basically done.
Okay.
Do you want to go for it?
Because I want to mention as well, I'll never like deny and forget, you know, all the good moments and like the sweetest people I've met thanks to this series. Like I've met some real friends, you know, like through like thanks to this series and hanging out, you know.
That's how we met.
Yeah, exactly. Like so Trails will always be a part of me, obviously, and I'll always look back fondly of the good memories, but I just cannot continue anymore. I think this is where I stop. Maybe I'll just follow from afar, like, you know, see what's going on. If I was right, like, I'll just laugh and say, ha, I told you. And if not, then I'll be glad to be proven wrong. If someday Falcom wakes up and is like, what the fuck are we doing again? Oh yeah, let's just, yeah.
Well, we'd still be right, because they still would have fucked it up for like 20 years.
But
and
it doesn't change like the huge like shit stain in the middle, but at least they tried to make it better afterwards. But you know, it's
I think it's too late, to be honest.
To me, unless they start over with something new and try to not fuck it up this time. But
they mentioned a new IP, but you know, with Falcom, they just as easily.
That's a thing too. Like, why not just try other games? All they did for so long, they tried like
Tiny Team.
They tried to like do Tokyo Xanadu, which was nice. No, but what I mean, like every year they do like a new game, right? They try. I think if
they tried, I think they might actually genuinely lose so much money that they might be in trouble.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
So I guess my theory about Trails being the only thing that brings them some money is true, because if they try to expand and do like different series and different concepts and not just Trails and Ease with like something else every like 20 years.
Expansion. That's a good word. It reminds me of something.
You know, expand the horizons and like at least have because Falcom has great video game heritage, you know. If you know about the story of Falcom since like the early 80s, they've done some amazing things, and I mean, like, they paved the way for gaming at some point. They did some of the very first action RPG ever, like they really are a part of like the computer gaming from like the 80s. It's pretty nuts. Like,
they are one of the legit OGs of JRPGs.
To see them like
you can't take that
end up like this now, it's it's not very pretty. But yeah, even for East, you know what? I don't even care about East 10. I don't.
I couldn't give the most remote amount of shit.
Yeah. I just don't.
I feel nothing.
Yeah, same.
It looks like East 8, but possibly even worse graphically.
I mean, East 8 was
and with
fun.
The characters.
East 8 to me was like probably my favorite Falcom game of like the modern era, by far. I told you this, but this one just looks like they try to recapture a little bit of East 8's, atmosphere, I guess. but failed.
Trying to recapture the
Yeah,
past.
they tried to recapture, get that lightning in the bottle again, like you said. But I don't think it's gonna work out.
Never gonna work.
You know, I don't think it's gonna work out. And
I will. In that case, I may as well say it. I do have one prediction that I don't think I've really said out loud, but I won't hedge all my bets on it. I hope it doesn't. Mind you, I don't really give a fuck if it does or not at this point, but I think it'd be preferable if it didn't for most people. I have this one thing, and if I turn out to be wrong about this, it's totally fine, because this is sort of a throwaway thing. It's more of it's a throwaway prediction. It's not like one of those hold me to this things, but how do I put this? I think that the fact that they didn't capitalize on the Western audience and expand in that way, because you said expansion, and I remember thinking there was another way they could have expanded, and that was to new audiences.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking recently, I think them not doing that is the final nail in the coffin for the company.
Yeah.
Potentially,
yeah.
I could be wrong, and maybe I am at this point. It's just a prediction, but I'm basically saying that because I know people will say, like, in 10 years, if Falcom suddenly make it like slightly bigger, or they're still going, they'll be like, Luke, you were wrong. And it's like, well, it was a throwaway prediction. But I do think there is a good chance, with how secretive they are, how terrible they are at communicating, how they don't change their ways, how they seem to be making a game year after year after year. They're terrified of making something new, new decisions.
And committing too. They're terrified to commit in all senses of the word, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. With their writing and with their development and
everything.
With their business practices, it runs through them. Also, sort of like a cancer. And that's my knee again. But what they do is they had the chance. They were off the momentum.
They had something.
Of 3 and 4. NIS were doing their thing. About the only thing NIS do well. They marketed the shit out of that game. It did well. They mentioned it on the end of year report that Western sales had gone up and had contributed significantly. I don't remember the percentage, but I remember thinking, fuck, that is actually significant. That is way
I remember
more.
Kondo saying that the Western market at this point represented 30% of...
I think that might have been it. Yeah,
that's huge.
That's nearly a third. And if you keep going with this momentum, what more could that be? When it's just crazy that they then took that and said, okay, so we've had Cold Steel 3 and then Cold Steel 4. We're making money off of this Western market. We're doing these panels with the voice actor panels, and Kondo turns out the one, and I started...
Even JDK Lives for the English audience,
Yeah, and I thought, I started to think, okay, are they finally doing it? And, I won't even look at it morally. I'll just say they should have just done it as a business decision. But maybe a little morally too, just to give a fucking thanks to us. But they didn't. What they instead decided to do with that concert was they said, okay, so you've had Cold Steel 3 and Cold Steel 4 1 year apart.
You'll get this one in 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years later. I think it was 2 actually, wasn't it? It was 21 to
2.
23.
You're right, 2.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, so you get Reverie in 2 years, and I'm like, no! And I had my reaction from that on a video somewhere that I privated, because it was just, it depressed me to know it was on there.
To me, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
That was the thing, and they said like, but that was after they said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna localize Crossbell, and I'm like, people ain't gonna fucking care. And when I say that, obviously I don't mean everyone, I mean generally, normie, layman stuff, your average casual
PSP game from like 2007. Yeah, everyone's gonna
fucking around then. Yeah, I think it might have been 2010.
It was 2009 actually for Zero and 2011.
then,
11 for 2011 for Azure.
2 years apart. Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. Here's 2 more than decade-old games from the PSP. Upscaled that you need to play 3 other fucking PSP games.
With the downgraded music from the vanilla version and not the Evolution instrumentals with like actual... man, I hope you heard some of it, but Zero and Azure's Evolution versions, which is the one I played back in the day, they have such better soundtrack. It's amazing.
I've listened to both. With me, it's always a toss-up whether I like one version or another. But I do like...
You know, the police theme with like the saxophone and like it's just so much more, it just gives that vibe so much more, in my opinion, of like the real instruments as opposed to like those, MIDI versions.
For me, it's always a toss-up, I think. But yeah, there are some that I even like more when you do the, I think
the
it's...
Geofront in the Evolution version, it just like slaps so hard compared to the original game. Holy shit, have you heard it?
Oh! I'm thinking of the Super Arrange. So I was thinking of the Super Arrange back then. There's a Super Arrange version of Firm Strength that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good all round, the music.
It's
usually.
good, but like it was honestly a bit outdated, especially today when you listen to like these old MIDI samples from like late 2000s.
Really
yeah, but for me, it really bothers me because I played the Evolution versions with like that lovely saxophone and those instruments, whatever, those guitars, like it's just so much more, quality in the sound compared to. Yeah. So for me, that's actually a big thing, honestly. I can deal with like old school MIDI, but like if there's something better, I don't want to do with the,
Oh, did you hear that one?
I heard it, yeah.
That was my knee.
Damn.
Oh, I decided to get up and stretch.
So for you, it's also an everyday thing to crack your bones everywhere.
I am the clumsiest person I know. But yeah, as for Falcom, how do I put this? I think I already have. I think I put it basically straight in the fucking oven and just cooked it at this point. And that's what Falcom have done to any hope of growth. Yeah. They just put it in the oven and cooked it. We said let them cook, and they overcooked it.
Yeah.
I can't fucking fathom. I would love to get in a room with Kondo and say, whose decision was it? After all of that fucking momentum from Cold Steel 3 and Cold Steel 4, whose fucking decision was it to say, let's not go with Reverie, the latest shiny new game, which actually was Kuro at the time, but latest for us. Whose decision was it to say, no, don't do that yet. Push that aside and tell NIS America that they have to also work on Azure, Zero, and fucking Nyuta, and then Reverie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, who is Nyuta for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who is this for?
Kind of odd.
Maybe people will buy it. This is why I would love to get my hands on that sales data. But who the fuck is that for?
That's an E7 era game on the PSP, so...
Yeah, that may or may not... The Falcom won't clear up whether it is really like the Grandmaster and how connected it is. They're being deliberately vague about it, so who is it for?
I don't know, yeah.
It boggles the fucking mind, and it's like, you had the momentum of the gods.
Yep.
Year on year, and NIS probably would have been willing to get that out quickly.
That would have been,
because,
so much better.
Yeah, it's just mad that they decided not to do that. And I think that was the first massive bad decision they made, and since then it's just been dominoes falling. Letting NIS America do loads of stupid shit have been also little dominoes. The rehashing of ideas have been, I guess they were dominoes that were already in motion that now I can see in hindsight. But I just think that now when I realise where they're going with the series, and it's basically going nowhere, they can't come up with a decisive vision on it. Even Hideo Kojima needs a team around him to make sure he doesn't do any stupid shit in Metal Gear Solid. And what does he do when they fucking stop letting run him up? He makes Death Stranding.
Walking simulator, yes.
Jesus Christ, that's what he does. Yeah. I'm sure it sold well because it's Kojima, but Falcom don't have that kind of fucking pull, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Falcom rely on hardcore motherfucking fans, and you are pushing them away. As the ones in the West especially. The ones in Japan, they're walking away because they don't play consoles anymore. Us, treating us like shit. And so, I probably never will play Kuro again. Trails again. People mention Kuro. Oh, give it a while and play Kuro. I don't want to
honestly
play Kuro.
I will say this about Kuro. It's weird. It feels very strange to me because I had such a good time playing that game, but as a standalone game, you know what I mean? Like, just you see this new cast, like it's pretty, self-contained, not too much going on, and I really like the cast. Like, I really enjoy it, but like I just forgot it was Trails when I was playing it. Basically, I just like played it as a game I enjoyed, and I had a great time. I'm not gonna lie. It's still full of bullshit here and there, but the game felt a bit more a return to like a simpler
Original?
time, you know, like something a bit more on a smaller scale, and I enjoyed it really like a
A
lot.
bit more like Trails in the Sky.
Yeah,
but like
and
modernized.
honestly, like this, and the fact that the game, at least the first one, really seemed to like commit to its writing without too much side bullshit. The only thing I didn't like was like the optional like kill or don't kill kind of thing. I thought it was
I didn't know
that's
that,
a
though.
stupid mechanic because you know, your enemies are not going to come back anyway, so why bother killing or not killing?
The illusion of
Yeah,
choice.
the illusion of choice. That's the only thing I can hold against it. But like what I enjoyed as well is that they, of course, because of criticism, they decided to do like, oh, you complain that there's not enough deaths and like violence, then here it is. And they went a bit overboard with like the, you know, it's a bit edgy, but at the same time it feels good.
I've just remembered the name for it. They call it reactive game design.
Yeah.
They used to do it for Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
That's
basically
why
what they've done.
Final Fantasy 2 was so non-linear, because people complained Final
So,
Fantasy 13 was too
if you feel starving for an RPG at some point and if it comes out, I can actually at least recommend it to you based on at least my experience, because again the game the game on its own, Van, the main character especially, he is so likable compared to Rin to me. Van feels like his own person, which is something I've been craving for so long. Now, I'm not saying you should commit to the series again, because even I'm just giving up. But if you feel bored and want to play something that's decent, I think Kuro is actually a decent game.
I appreciate the recommendation. I do. The problem is, with how attached I was to Trails, and you know, I'm only just really severing the cord of that attachment. You know, it's not quite doing a fingering motion when
I get you.
I'm not quite at the point where I've completely let go, but I've completely let go of any expectation.
Oh, that I have
and
to.
I think if I play Kuro, I will be immediately reminded of all of the negativity of all of the Trails. I'll be reminded of the fact that I went through all that
and it's gonna hinder your experience.
Scraps. Yeah, he has no Kondo, he was in charge, and whoever the writers are, they have no interest in answering the things that they've told us are
That's
important.
the problem. That's the biggest problem.
And they will keep dilly-dallying, and it's like getting back with someone who's cheated on you. They're not going to change.
Yeah,
They'll
true.
just
That's
keep
actually
doing it
very true.
Again and again.
That is very true.
But just do it. Yeah, it's sad that I'm able to pull out that analogy so naturally.
But that's sad but true. Hey!
Well, it's,
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
it is what it is, man. I can't.
So many meta references in this
the better one.
podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy, but you know, I think it sums it up well. I don't want to be cheated on again by Falcom by this idea that they're going to go
You're right,
somewhere.
though, yeah.
And if it
You know,
doesn't
it's like
fuck me
I was
over.
like until now. This even now I'm still working on it, but this like battered wife or husband, I guess in this case, that keeps on getting beat on, keeps on getting beat by his wife.
He's changed,
And
God, he's
she's
changed.
gonna change. I'm sure she's gonna change. And every time I come back, every time I get a big slap in the face, and so.
The moment you walk through the door, they give you like all the nice food, and you're like, oh,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna change, and then
Here
we go again.
You get to bed later on. She's moaning about when you were looking at some woman. Turns out you were just looking at a lamppost.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, I thought that was Shelley. And you were looking at fucking Shelley. I saw you. And then she's talking about that shit you did on the wedding day when you accidentally dropped the cake. That was my big fucking day, Jonathan. You ruined my fucking day. And it's like, get over it. It was 19 years ago. But then you're like, wow, 19 years of this shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just quit.
Exactly. This
Like
is
a
where I am, but that's a good analogy. Really, it really is. And the thing I really need to work on now is, because this is not good for me. Like even mentally, like to be attached to like a passion that doesn't bring you anything good. I think I should just keep the good memories and leave it where it is. You know.
Yeah, it's like cigarettes. There's another analogy, metaphor, I guess.
Yeah.
It's cigarettes. I remember when I had my first few. Fucking incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to the point, I think nearly 5 years ago, where I was like, it's been 7.5 years. I'm just doing it because I can't go without it now. And then it's like, I should try something else. So I was like, okay, guitar, chewing gum, and water. And I haven't smoked in nearly 5 years.
Nice,
So it's
good.
oh, cheers. Yeah, every time someone tells me that they're having trouble, they were trying to quit smoking, and they're telling me about the vapes and the fucking Nicorette patches, and I'll just say to them, dude, don't waste your money, just fucking stop. Gum, water, learn an instrument, go for walks, come up with new things. They act like there's no choice, but there really is. It's just fucking different.
What I will say as well, since we're basically wrapping things up, and this is basically a conclusion in case the listeners haven't guessed, but
this is our
epilogue. Yes, exactly. This is the real epilogue, not like reverie.
Yeah, if Trails gets one, then we fucking do too, and that was what my rant was too. So everyone could shut up about it.
It's actually kind of funny because I still plan on participating to Falcom themed albums by Resonant Union and stuff. Like I have Unfathomed Force coming, a track I've been working on for a while.
You're working on Unfathomed Force?
I want to send you what I did actually as a secret thing, because I know I can trust you. You're not gonna leak it somewhere. But
I'm gonna leak it all over 4chan. It's all going on 4chan.
But I'm also working on a jazzy acoustic album, Falcom, called what was it? I don't think I can say it, so I'm not gonna say it. But it's an album that's pretty chill with we're gonna do East stuff. I think that's the idea. Some East mashups of chill acoustic with pianos and stuff. But I'm still gonna do Falcom music, because at the end of the day, I think that's what brought me in Falcom stuff, games, and I still love a lot of the music, so for me that's not an issue as long as I don't, take it like a toxic thing related to the games. But still stuff to come next year. Unfortunately, it's been pushed back. This is a track I actually finished last year, actually, when we started the project, but unfortunately because of the organizers being busy and stuff, which is, that's life. They had to postpone the album to next year, 2024, I don't know when. But look forward to that if anyone still cares. I'll do also a lot of other things like Toho, because I'm really big into Toho now. At least it's something that's never gonna betray me. It's been around since 1994, and big, very warm, welcoming fan base. Really great fan content, anyways. And even if I cannot really play the games very much, because it's very visual, but at least I'm enjoying the universe and the music. Anyways, but I'll still do a lot of music. I think that's what I'm going to focus on, actually, music. I want to focus on it, and music is good for the mind, and So I'll still do some Falcom stuff, but it's not really, it's just going to be stuff like that.
That sounds pretty exciting, actually. I feel sort of the same way in a weird way. It's like my relationship with Falcom has basically devolved into just a relationship with their music more than anything else.
That's what most people from the circle I'm from that makes these albums, that's how they feel mostly, all of them, by the way.
Well, that's I think pretty much most people can agree that the music is one of the most distinct Falcom things that there is. When it comes to Falcom, you think of their music as one of the first things that comes to your head. But I think in general, I do want to pursue music even more. I want to get to the point where I'm good enough to play metal as well as the ambient stuff, the soft stuff, and good enough to be able to collaborate with you. Essentially, that's my goal.
I'll help you through that if you need anything through the internet, of course.
Oh, Master and the Apprentice. Yeah, it's I could be an apprentice, I guess, but
if you need, I'm not saying you have to if you don't want to, but I'm here to help if you need some help.
No, I really appreciate the offer, and I fucking leant on my phone, nearly turned on the PS1 startup sound. I know.
Nice.
I got it on my desk here, and nearly landed on it with my elbow. But yeah, the idea is I think that I've put too much effort into learning video editing and not enough into music production.
Oh yeah.
And so what I felt myself is my goal now is to essentially, get to a point where I can record clean signal on my guitar and it sounds good. I tried experimenting
with that. What's the issue, actually? We'll talk about it later, because it's not really a podcast.
The issue?
You have an interface, right?
Yeah, I've got the focus right. The Scarlett 2i2.
Logically, if you use like an amp sim, you should not have any problem with the signal, I think.
It's not so much the signal, it's more the tone, and I'm trying to ascertain whether it's my guitar, my pedals, or something in between. Maybe the thing
Try
itself.
this.
It's not really a problem. It's more just it sounds.
Is it like overloaded? Like you know what I mean?
I think it could be the abundance of pedals I use. So I will be trying to experiment with like using less
Try
pedals.
to use the bare
pedal.
minimum you need for what you want to do at a time with the interface. That's what I would say. And also make sure that the interface is at the minimum. The volume often, that's how it was with my previous one and this one too. For like an instrument, you put it like the input at the minimum, really just the bare minimum. For the guitar, especially if you've got like a guitar with like high output pickups. But even if it's not high output, you need something. Instruments need to be basically at minimum. Yeah, it's not like a microphone. A microphone you need to boost it, like put some volume, but not for guitars. Like it's really different. Do you do that? Like.
With the audio interface, usually I'll have it just a little below the middle.
Oh, you need.
If I can't hear it well.
Need to. No, actually, that's too much. No.
That means I'm going wrong somewhere because I'm having trouble hearing it. So it might be on the Audacity end.
It could be, yeah. Oh, Audacity. That's what you use. Okay.
Yeah, I think the best thing I can do is now that I don't have
to move on to something more appropriate. I'm sorry, Audacity just doesn't cut it for this kind of stuff. That's why. Okay, now I know.
It could be that, yeah, because I'm having trouble hearing it. So there's I've got to turn the gain up, which is going to make. I mean, I play pretty low end stuff. I like to use my my rhythm pickups on the neck instead of the bridge because I like it to sound nice and warm. And if I do that, I mean, I put that ambient music video up. I imagine if you were to hear that, did you hear that yet? By the way?
I heard
did
your
you
video, and I could hear that you played your guitar in it, which I was almost about to say. I'm proud of you. You started to actually play your instruments, but I thought that was too. I don't know. I was kind of,
No, I appreciate that. That means a lot.
So I didn't comment it. I don't think I said it in my comment, but I was almost about to say it.
No,
but I was like,
I appreciate that. I really do.
A bit cringy to say that, so I didn't say it. But yeah.
Nah, don't worry. Don't worry
but
about that.
I know what's the issue now. Actually, I'm sorry to say it, but Audacity is just not cut for the job for that stuff. So, but I have a solution for you if you still want to use Audacity for some stuff. Because a lot of producers, including me sometimes, not anymore, but use multiple DAWs, multiple like programs for different things. And so, if you want to, for example, do specific jobs in Audacity, you can, and you import it in Reaper afterwards. But or something else. I'm just using Reaper because that's what I use. It's cheap and it's even free, quote unquote free, if you want. But I'm not supposed to say that.
I did some research on that. Apparently there's like this
infinite trial thing.
Basically just send them a fucking PayPal donation of like
$60. I think it's like 60 quid.
60, yeah.
And that's what I did, by the way. I bought a license and I'm really happy. What I would do is if you want to do any guitar, at least get Reaper or something else if you want. But Reaper I can help you with because I've been using it for years now.
That's my hang up. That's where I'm not sure because I really want to get into the ambient music and I know FL Studio looks perfect for the ambient stuff. But then I could put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I could just say, okay, I'm going to learn this for guitar. So.
But then again,
it's looking like I'll go for Reaper.
FL Studio is nice as well. Basically, our keyboard player in my band, we call it Cody Max. In the band, we do all that Falcom stuff and do whatever. And the keyboard player is actually all the keys you hear is him and me because I actually play keyboard as well, but on the audio.
Oh yeah, I've seen you play. I don't remember which song it was. I've seen you play it.
Yeah, the one you mentioned. What is it called again?
It was Fantasy Realm, wasn't it?
You see me play it on the video. I actually showed myself playing it.
That was that one.
And that's actually me. All the keyboard parts is me. It's not something I imported or extracted from something. It's me. I actually played all of it. But what I wanted to say, he uses FL Studio. and I use Reaper, and the drummer Dylan uses Cubase. So we all use different DAWs anyways, but like you can use multiple. Like Reaper is technically free, so if you can manage guitars in FL Studio, which I think it's a pain, so I wouldn't not recommend, but
I tried once and then gave up.
So what I would do is, it's a bit time consuming a little bit, but a lot of producers do this for a reason. So do the keyboard stuff in FL, maybe some stuff in Audacity, and the guitars and drums or whatever in Reaper. That's what I would do. But like each tool is best for a certain thing, right? Like the best tool for the job, basically.
Yeah, I've been doing this thing. I've been trying to get my synth to do certain things, but there's a certain type of ambient music that I've been wanting to learn. I've been trying to produce like really nice
MIDI pads, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so difficult to do on my Mini Nova because it's got all of these old, sort of cold, hard, fucking 80s sounds. I'm like, how do I do this? So I'm like, okay, I'll put my Polaro reverb pedal on it because that's got a reverse on it.
Oh, sorry. Do you have like a MIDI, USB MIDI output from your keyboard?
Yes, I just haven't figured out how to work it yet. I've never tried MIDI, but I do have the.
I usually use also my
MIDI
built-in sounds, like the Fantasy Realm is actually all my built-in Korg sounds, but it's actually a really cool arranger synth that I have, in my opinion. That's why I chose it, because it has so many sounds. But anyways, and historical Korg sounds too that I enjoy from the 90s. You know, like that. What is it? The house music from the 90s. Anyways.
Oh,
it has all those sounds because those were Korg synthesizers back then. Anyways, but you can also use MIDI. That's how I use samples. Sometimes, you know, the Big Smoke parodies on Falcom After Hours, like when we did the... exactly. That's how I did it. Actually, like...
I wondered how you did that.
I did it with the USB, so I used my keyboard as a MIDI device, and then I imported the Big Smoke, in my Reaper. Like you have a sampler in Reaper, and I put it in the sampler. Like I tweak the knobs to make it like so it doesn't cut, but like it stops smoothly. And then I played the melody on my synth. So the synth was basically Big Smoke. That was the Big Smoke.
I always
synth.
wondered how you did that. Now I know how. It's the magic.
So if
MIDI.
you want to do something silly like that someday, you can. It's just MIDI, the power of MIDI.
It's another example of something I feel I should have learned already, but will endeavour to learn. I think the thing that held me back was I was focusing so much on becoming a good video editor, but now I'm at the point where I can pretty reliably use like a professional editor like Vegas Pro. I was just going to say, now that I've done that, I think I'm at the point where I can
music
just
too, and something you can do that would be super useful for you because you have actually working eyes is learn to program MIDI, because you don't even need a synth if you do that. You can just program it like a lot of producers do now. So that would allow you to use any synth you want in the DAW. Like you download VST synths, and you could use anything you want. I wish I could do that, but I can only play like with my hands. A performance, but I cannot program myself. Visual issues.
It's funny you should mention VSTs. I downloaded a while ago. You know the Valhalla, the free plugins, the Supermassive. The Supermassive especially. It won't work in Audacity. But I did a Trails remix video somewhat recently.
I remember.
And the reverbs on that I got were fucking crazy, because it turns out, while they don't work in the audio editing Audacity, what they do work in is fucking Sony Vegas Pro.
Vegas Pro.
They work in
Holy
Vegas
shit.
Pro. I can do more fucking editing with my audio in Vegas fucking Pro, a video editor, that I can do in Audacity. That's how I got all those crazy reverb sounds. I was like, fucking hell, look at these reverbs. And I was basically audio engineering in a fucking
Sony
video
Vegas
editing
is basically also
software.
sort of an audio editing also program in a way.
I guess so.
Sort of.
It would seem so.
I guess it's because it's Sony. I don't know,
fucking...
but it's kind of built like it, right? If you look at it, the interface kind of looks like a DAW, kind of, in my opinion. It's not the same as the others.
It's good. It's very, very good, and I'm very impressed with it. And the thing is, I can do certain things on Audacity, but at this point I leave it pretty much clean, and I'll just cut it up how I want it, and then I'll take it to Vegas and do the fun stuff basically. Although I'll do things like the stretching and like the slowing.
How do you, by the way, do the timing, like like if you need
slowing it down?
If you need a click track or something, to keep track of the tempo.
I just do it by ear.
Because
that's why it sounds a little off at times.
Yeah, you will need, if we ever collab, you will need to work with a click track, because you cannot do that.
I hear that from like professionals all the time.
Yeah.
I talked to some professionals back in the day actually, and they said, yeah, you think you don't need one.
You do.
But yeah, that's what I've heard. So it's like, well, in that case, I'm a fucking, an intermediate level player, probably, if even
it's
that.
It's okay, because I can help you with everything. If one day you want to have a session of like working on this stuff, we can call and share screens and shit like I do with my fellow musicians, and I can help you with some stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, this makes me wonder if like we'd be happy if we had a podcast about musical stuff.
That's actually a great segue into what I wanted to talk about to maybe finish up the podcast now, but about maybe the possible rebirth of something new. Not rebirth of something new, that makes no sense, but like I guess a rebirth of the podcast, but instead it's not going to be, of course, Falcom anymore, but we can talk about it if for some reason we need to or want to, but it would be more maybe, I don't know, it could be anything really. Music sounds great to me, actually. Like even music, about video game music and the doujin scene, the doujin scene, right? And music like the video game fan stuff, basically. Doujin is basically fan-made, that's what it means. But since I'm officially, I guess, a part of the doujin scene on a small scale, but still like officially, I'm on like what do you call these websites that have like video game music data, and I'm on them. I'm actually on there now. It's pretty wild. I can see my information and what I worked on. But yeah, I don't know who does that, but someone keeps the releases.
I actually just had an idea. As you were saying that, we could actually, in the background, instead of just the regular Falcom stuff,
make our own music.
Yeah, we could have our own music. We could have music from any game. In fact, I do a lot of the what you call them, remixes. Yeah. I don't think they're really remixes. I think they're sort of like pseudo remix. It's sort of a remix, but I don't do that much. Sometimes I'll just slow a track down so it's 30 minutes long, and it just draws out completely. Sometimes I'll reverse it. We could use stuff like that, but we could also keep it video game related so the audience doesn't feel completely alienated, because I found that if you're going to pivot away from one JRPG, maybe just stick to JRPGs in general, or just video games in general, but also with
something that's related.
Yeah, kind of like a soft landing. Yeah, and that way people be more inclined to actually check it out, I guess, but it does sound like a lot of fun. In fact, I'll tell the audience the idea I thought of for you with the because it was the Falcom Fancast. What was it? Oh no, that was something else. But I guess in that vein, it could be like the FF something, like the Falcom Fancast, something else like FF something else. That way. So
if it's FF Cast, it's gonna sound like Final Fantasy Cast.
Shit! Yeah, I didn't think of that. Oh no, we can't do FF Cast. God damn it. In that case, I'm all out.
We'll think of something.
Yeah. We'll think of a name podcast, or like the Shadow Band podcast was. I don't think that's been taken. I once told an old mate, I was like, we should do a Shadow Band podcast.
That sounds good, actually. I like that.
Yeah, but like you'd have to do pretty edgy stuff, otherwise people will go, you wouldn't get Shadow Band. But it's like, I'm going to tell you.
Oh man.
Shadow Band.
Speaking of edgy, I mean, I guess it's not that edgy, but I cannot wait to share with you what I did for next month's album. We did a prog metal song for like an original album. We're speaking of those like doujin albums, but this time it's original, of course. And I went full on, like I composed everything by myself for once. It's the first time, and everyone apparently seems to love it, which makes me very happy, and the organizers. And it's going to be the title track of the album. But what I want to say is I want to give a teaser, I guess, because I talked about ambient stuff, and actually I felt inspired by space. It might sound funny, but I made the song about a wandering black hole in the universe. I don't know, I just felt inspired, but I cannot wait to share it with you. It's a black hole called B1373 plus 425. I forgot the name, but it's like by NASA, and I actually used a sample of like the real sound of the black hole recorded by NASA. So it's kind of funny.
That's actually really
cool.
cool.
So I'm excited to show it to you because it's very prog too, because the keyboard player he's a fan of prog stuff, so we made it something quite original, and I'm looking forward to making you listen to it, and everyone that is interested, just in case. But
I'm sure it's better to listen to than the fucking noise my chair's been making. The amount of noise.
No, it's fine. We don't hear it that much.
I'll get one
Not
soon,
from
but
here, at least.
Yeah, it's kind of like a.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah.
When I try to make noise, it's hard. By the way, I just looked into it. I had that shadow band podcast idea sometime around like last year. Turns out somebody took it.
Oh shit.
Shadow Band is a podcast channel. Made September 21st, 2022.
Oh.
That was a little after I came up with the idea. Somebody's kind of taken it. I was like, I can't believe no one's taken that. And then someone finally taken it. It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find a name.
But yeah.
We'll find something, I'm sure. Something else.
Yeah, but as for the future of this podcast, I mean, it's not really for me to say. It was
Both
your.
of us just, I think it's just, it's not just my podcast. In fact, if you weren't in this, I wouldn't do it. Obviously, it's a mutual project.
I guess I'm totally fine with that. It's a shame because like I was watching the original and like I remember seeing all you guys talking about it. I was thinking like if we had more podcasts like this, like, more people might get into trails, and it was just so nice to hear loads of people talk about it. But I think the lack of interest from the guys in coming on here, I think I kind of understand it now. Because it's like, what is there to say about trails at this point that hasn't already been said? And now that I've played Reverie, I see it. I see it now. At this point, if we were to keep making them, it'd be like moaning.
That's all it would be.
I think that it is a good idea for us to just sort of.
It's for the best.
Yeah, just think about what comes next and what would make us happy.
Exactly.
Because we're not exactly massive anyway. Like what are they? Maybe a couple hundred views. I think.
Small,
Not bad for. Yeah, it's not bad for trails, but it's like. I think if we did sort of make this into something else, I think we have so many interests that already overlap. And
that could be very interesting, actually. I think staying limited even to Falcom, even without taking into account all the things we mentioned, that's actually detrimental in a way, because there's so much we could talk about,
It absolutely is, and it's funny, people, I've seen a lot of Reddit posts about this, like, who are your favorite trails YouTubers? And I got mentioned once. I was like, oh, I saved the comment because I was like, hey.
Nice.
Yeah, I was surprised because somebody just put, who's your favorite? I have it saved. It might even be, because I haven't been saving much lately. I'm going to try and find it. Let's see, I shouldn't have to scroll down much.
You want to know what would get us views if we still did this trail stuff?
What's that?
Top 10 waifus. That kind of shit.
Oh,
this is what will work. I can bet. I would bet that's what will work.
Views are easy if you're willing to
sell your soul. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if you wanted to do it for the views, it's actually remarkably easy. But it's to get views and have fun is difficult. But like somebody said, Magic Echo never fails to get a chuckle out of me. I was like, oh, I saved the comment. But it's like I've seen some sentiment on the subreddit, and people seem annoyed when Trails content creators. They seem annoyed that there's not enough of them. There's not enough Trails content creators, but what I think they need to do is ask one, well then why didn't you do it instead, That's what I always want to say to them. I want to say, well then make your own channel and give it a go. But two is, I think we need to think about why that is, because there are a few that there are Let's Players who play Trails, and that's the one that gets the most views for them. You've got dudes who do highlight videos of them. You've got the Kiseki nut who's really good, but I think his success is probably because he had the balls to do more than just
I think
kiseki.
I dropped his channel because he would just gush so much about Emma that I was just like, oh my god.
I missed that arc. That sounds like something worth watching.
Yeah.
But still, it's like I see all these content creators, and the running theme seems to be that Trails is not something that you can just. I mean, we've just talked for like 2 hours about how. I mean, I've talked about how I think Trails is dying.
Yeah.
So to latch your online relevance to something that's dying
Doesn't.
seems remarkably counterintuitive. And that would be okay if it was like you were getting something out of it, because then it would be like, well, the views don't matter because I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, I'm not enjoying it. And I think a lot of people have come to this conclusion.
Oh yeah, more people than you think. Trust me.
Yeah, and it's like, can anyone even point to any Trails YouTubers that prioritize Trails anymore?
You know.
It's like, it's such a small niche. It's a niche within a niche within a niche, but like, I mean, I have a great knowledge of it. For a while, I didn't bother watching anything, but then I got into you guys at Falcom After Hours, and I got into Kiseki Nut, and there's Tubes as well. I've done some
speaking of
Trails
which,
videos.
Falcom After Hours, we, of course, that's not dead. We still plan on doing stuff with that channel before I forget, because, you know, it might not be Falcom only anymore, that's for sure. We said that before, and it's still in the plans, but it's so much fun that even if I, you know, don't care about Trails anymore, it doesn't mean we won't use Trails characters anymore, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be,
Yeah,
you
like-
know, and whatever's fun for us at the time.
Seems similar to my content actually, in that I can see Trails playing a part in a sense, like music-wise.
Yeah.
I've got some music stuff coming out, and
Nice.
it will play a part. But at the same time, yeah, I just think to myself, like, it's not a genre that's really dying or dead. It's
Not
a
enough
genre that
demand
never
also,
really
because even if people complain
that's-
that
it never really
even
existed.
if they complain that there's not enough, there is a reason why there's not enough. And it's the same for music in a way too, because back in the day, when 2017 whatever, when I started making covers, why did I do this? Because no one was doing it at the time. Almost no one was making simple covers like this. Of course, I was like very new to production, so I would just do like the rawest of raw takes from my amp onto the back-end track, but you know, it has its charm, I guess. And and nobody did it back then, so I would get, you know, decent amount of views, like 6,000 views, 7,000 views, whatever. And then now today, everyone's doing it and no one's getting views. I don't know if you noticed, but when I come across new covers, like new ones now, like instead.
Oh, I've seen a few. Yeah.
Unless it's like from a very well-known established YouTuber, of course. But if it's like someone like me, a nobody, like they don't get any views anymore. I've seen amazing covers that get like 100 views at most after like a year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this really shows, like, you see these insanely talented people doing these covers and they don't get any views. And there's a reason why, because there's not enough demand.
That is exactly it. It's a small thing, and I think the people who expect people to do Trails only or Trails primarily, I think it's a very detached thing to want to happen. I think if they want it that bad, they should try it themselves, see just how shit it is to do and how little people care about it, and then give it a go.
Yep.
I can't think of a single Trails only channel on YouTube, and yet this term Trails YouTuber or Trails tuber gets thrown around all the time. Lady Virgilia, she what was it? I think she put all of it on an archive, I believe, and does Trails, Persona.
Oh, I know who it is.
I guess that's probably.
I'm a part of the server too. The Phantom Thieves. How is it? Forgot.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, I know that she did Trails recaps, and they did well. But it's like Persona was a thing that did really well, and maybe she enjoyed that more too. But it's like another person you could consider a Trails YouTuber isn't really a Trails YouTuber. A lot
I know
of us
tons
do
of content creators that do Trails stuff. Even the older ones.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's just we do other things too.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, you know, and I think it just crystallized for me just how few people are actually in the scene. I mean, there's a whole thread dedicated to it, best Trails YouTubers. There's no such thing. there's no such thing. We all branch out eventually.
It's a stretch
Because
to even
you just
call
have
it
to.
Trails YouTuber, because what are you gonna say? Like, everything has been said, and sure, if there's some news once in a while, but
that news is always depressing.
the only thing you can do is like we do a Falcom After Hours and just do a, how funny would it be if it came up? No, I'm joking. The favorite Trails YouTuber is Falcom After Hours. But no, more seriously is if you do like humor type stuff, like, you know, skits and whatnot, then I guess you can do regular content all the time, but yeah, no, not like this.
Eventually you're going to burn out because there's only so much you can do, and it's just, how do I put this? It's sad because I had loads of ideas for stuff. I was planning on doing an entire retrospective of the series from Cold Steel onwards, and then I would go back and I did a review of Cold Steel 1. I was planning on doing that for every Trails game. I'd never run out of content. I had the clips I was doing, I had the music, I could have done think pieces on it, essays, and it's like, I eventually realized it's not good enough to me to
dedicate so much
justify. Yeah, I mean, there are some fucking fantastic games out there, and so the best thing for us to do, I think, if we want to actually enjoy ourselves, is to just move on and do whatever we want to do. And if Trails comes up, it comes up. But for me, personally, I think my love right now is just for the music and games. I've spent most of my fucking chair. I spent my chair making a noise again. No, I spent most of the days, free time, drawing up a list of my favourite songs from each JRPG soundtrack that I love, and I've been coming up with because I want to put them into like little ambient, not ambient. I was like 1 hour beautiful JRPG music, I mentioned earlier, and I also want to do like remixes of like all sorts as well. And I've also found that just JRPGs in general, I've learned to really not just them either, like just Japanese games. 13 Sentinels. I'm going to get into God Eater.
Oh, God Eater! I have good memories of that series. Goddamn.
I like.
Have you seen my Let's
vibes.
Plays of God Eater on my channel? They're like unlisted, but that's something.
I didn't know you did.
Yeah,
Let's
I
Plays.
did. I used to.
Could you link me that? Oh, actually, if you link me, I'll watch it after I'm done with the game, and then I'll give it a watch. But yeah,
basically me saying, "Where are you guys?" And then they're like, I'm jumping, and I'm just like, where? I can't see you.
Yeah.
Because we played online, like the whole game online with friends.
Oh, that's
in co-op.
We need to play more games together. Actually, we can play PC
I'm
games,
down.
but it's about which
if
games
you're
you
fine
can
with
play.
playing
So
with a blind man, that's useless. I'm down.
That's cool. We just need to find one that you can play, and then I'll learn the game if I don't know. GTA 5.
Oh.
Can you play that?
I mean, yes and no.
I could drive us, but I will drive us into a building.
Sure,
for
I'm
fun.
Down, but I'll die very easily. Yeah, for sure.
That's alright. I'll protect you. I'll put you in like
I used to
tank.
play GTA 5 online all the time with my cousins and friends back in 2012. I remember 10 years ago.
It's great when you're playing with friends. Fucking boring when you're playing it alone. That's how I see it. But yeah, I think all channels really do this. They get to a point where they made so much content on one thing, and they think, I've really exhausted this, and you could keep going to spite yourself and to try and like, for most it's about the views. Views they matter for everybody, right? But to a different degree. And for me, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm literally going to do whatever the fuck I want. And I don't know how you are with the Falcom After Hours channel, but you know, I'm at the point now. So I look at my last videos. I did an East review, Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid, a fucking ambient music album, Kingdom Hearts, and then some trail stuff. I think with me, I don't know about you, but I've really enjoyed the reviews. The review for Scarlet Nexus was a joy to me.
I actually watched those too, like your reviews of other games, even if I don't play them, but like I still watch them because.
I'd recommend Scarlet Nexus if your eyes can handle it. No. It's pretty visually intensive, though.
I don't think we can. Sadly.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up. My eyes. I mean, it's because I've been learning to try to use what I have left. But I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always been very bad though. Like for a long time since I was a teenager. But I would always try to play and lie to myself, thinking, it's gonna be fine, and then. The majority of games I actually had to give up on like just play a few hours and then get stuck and stop, and I would finish, quote unquote, finish the games watching Let's Plays, because I would be stuck. And the only, again, back to Trails, the only game series I was able to actually play was Trails. But yeah.
Well, I think I need to review more games then. See if I can find you one that you might like that's like turn-based and chill.
We actually finished the games with Revis, my friend Revis, in co-op. Thanks to him and some friends that would join. But I was useless, utterly useless. But just for the fun of being together and like fuck around and joke and see the story.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And we would like, you know, say stupid shit while the cutscenes would go on. Actually, you know what? We need more games with co-op stories, like where you can actually see
Dead Rising 2.
That's so good because you can actually see the story together as you play with like your friends and do the missions together.
Dude.
It's so good.
If your eyes could handle Dead Rising 2, which is a pretty easy game, we could have some. Have you ever played it?
Never, but I could try. I'm down to try, but we'll see.
That could be fucking incredible. I know that.
We could make a co-op series of videos.
I was thinking that was an idea we could do instead of just being like just talky-walky shit. If we would really open up the amount of things we could do, we could play games together, we could talk about them, we could make musical projects. Basically, I'm more excited about what we can do in the future than I am scared to leave trails behind now. I guess that's where I'm at.
Definitely.
With the collaborative project with you and with
it's
my
very
own
exciting,
stuff too.
So, you know, and it's something positive and actually, because, you know, that's what it's about too. Like, you want to have fun, you don't want to be miserable, you know. So.
Yeah, and I think the reason I say this is because I know that the majority of the audience here, this very small audience, and our individual audiences, they crave us to do trails. I'm just going to say it now. I've had a lot of comments myself from people saying, never stop doing trails content, bro. And I look back at it now and I'm kind of sad because like,
same.
I don't like letting people down, you know, but at the same time, I know what it's like when your favorites, like one of your favorite content creators, I'm not saying I think that I am their favorite, but like when some of my favorites have been like, yeah, I'm going to do the different kind of content. And it's a bit sad sometimes, and sometimes you might not watch them anymore, but that's just one of those things, you know. You can't. You just have to follow your own heart. And if people like it, great. If they don't,
it's
that's fine too. You know, I did a fucking 56-minute analysis of each site because it felt fun. I did an ambient album because it felt fun. I'm still a JRPG channel. I like games. I like music.
Yeah.
But I think, I think it's time, in all ways, to just tell Trails to fuck off. And if I ever go back to it, I will. For me, not because of views or anything like that. It's just not worth it if it makes you miserable. And Trails is if we're gonna end it, I'm going all in. It makes me fucking miserable even thinking about it. When I think about how Falcom don't give a shit about the Western audience, when I think about the fact that their stories aren't answering the major plot elements, you can hear it in my voice. You can hear it in us. It's been 4 years of this shit for me, and up to 19 years for many other people. It's like the time has come. I could keep doing it, and I'm sure I could bring in fair views. If I wanted views, simple enough. If we wanted views, Falcom After Hours could do this. This podcast I could do it. Just the most bare bones, minimal Trails content would bring in views for us.
Definitely.
But it's just not worth it. I think it's the thing.
For what too? Because it's not like we monetize and would get a lot of money, even if we did. So why would we? Because that's the thing. We do this by passion and love. Like this is what drives us. Even for me, like I started my channel in 2012. I was like a decade younger, and I just started this channel because I was like, I want to share what I love with the world. I want to post videos I wish existed at the time. That's what I did, and this is still what I do today, music included. I just do stuff that brings me a smile, you know, that makes me happy. That and if people love it, I'm super, you know, happy. And if they don't, then well, oh well, you know. It's just it's a way to share stuff and have a good time. You know, be creative, and or just sometimes it's not just always be creative, but you know what I mean.
the original YouTube mindset. It's
broadcast
basically,
yourself. That's what it used to say.
That's it. Yeah, just broadcast yourself, make fun shit.
It's kind of like sort of like a blog of my life in a way since 2012. A little bit, not really, but like I just share random shit. Sometimes I do a skit with a friend that no one's gonna understand what it's about because it's a private joke, and I don't care. I still post it because I'm having fun,
I saw those skits with Revis with the bully.
Did you see it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what you put on it. I think
shampoo
it was like shampoo or something.
and what is it called? Toothpaste. Shampoo and toothpaste.
That was fucking as disgusting as it was.
Yes, I know. But that's the character we created. I mean, it's actually Revis that created it, but this is a character that the point was for it to be completely exaggerated and gross and funny.
Oh, it works.
Oh yeah.
It was successful in that sense. But yeah, I figured the reason I harped on that so long is because I kind of wanted to say that for a while, because I know there are people who are super into trails and they want the YouTubers to stay on the trails stuff, but there comes a point where I would hope that they would understand that there's a certain point where there's not much new you can do, and even if there is, you're just sort of rehashing things like Trails does. If I could do the reviews of Trails games, but at the same time it's like it makes me miserable.
No point in that.
And honestly, just moaning about it here feels like it's so cathartic to just get it off the chest, It's like that last.
This is the last one we did. Even for me, this is I got like a request to make I think a cover of Ecchitaku no Kondo, the opening of Trails of Cold Steel 1, and I was just like, I don't know, man. Already, like for drums, I need to like nag my friend Dylan, like, please, man, can you find the time to make me some drums for this song that he doesn't know anything about? He doesn't even play those games. He doesn't know shit about it. And just like, what the fuck is that shit? Oh, whatever, Max. I like you. You're my friend, so I'll do some drums for you. That's basically what happens. And he doesn't have any time anyway this year, like until December, because he's building his own new house, like he's a dad and whatever. So I would love to make a cover. Whoever asked for this, they probably will not be listening. But one, I don't think I can anytime soon. Maybe next year, and even then, I just don't have the heart. Like I don't know.
That's a good way of putting it. Don't have the heart. I feel the same. I don't have it in my art anymore. I
want to make something else, more music, other things, other themes, other games, other whatever.
I mean, I'll put it this way: when people did list through this list of people were putting their favorite Trails YouTubers on here, and the one where I was surprised I was mentioned, but you can't really find any who would I can't find a single one who's just into Trails. There's no such thing, and I think that's indicative of the fact that there's only so much you can do with one game series. You at least want to branch out into other adjacent games. It's like, just stick to one series. If you're going to do that, do like a fucking, I don't know, maybe a Final Fantasy or something like that. But I just think to myself, whenever I used to play Trails up until recently, I was like, I could be playing Final Fantasy right now. I always think about Final Fantasy 13. I always think about Nier Replicant and Nier Automata. And I'm like, why am I playing Trails? And I'm like, I can't let go. But now I finally have. And I've admitted it. And when I did, I knew when I made that video. I hate to make it about me, but we're talking about my channel, your channel, this podcast is both
of us.
I might as well say it. Yeah, I anticipated that I would lose most of my subscribers. I was surprised it was only about 30 or so from that video, but it was still a record for me. I was actually having a good laugh about it. It's the first time I've been so focused on my subscriber count. I was like, okay, let's count. And I think it was almost 30 that I lost just from that one video. But it was actually probably a lot more than that, because it would go up and down and up and down. So I probably lost about 50 and gained about 20.
It's fine, man.
Or rather, so like I probably lost about 30 in total. Like 50 people were probably like, yeah, I'm gone.
This is a cycle that's pretty common on YouTube. I listen to a few YouTubers. I used to follow that started with let's say a topic, a series, whatever, and then they branched out because they couldn't keep on going on something like this, and they were not happy and needed to just do something new. And they lost a shit ton, sometimes even a lot of subscribers, but then a lot of other people came in. And I think as long as you have like an appealing personality and you do like something that's you do something I don't know, with care, I guess, like you care about the content you make.
Yeah.
The passion,
yeah.
I think there's a chance that you could do well. And sure, at first it might be hard, like they all say. Like there's a point where you will struggle maybe to get back up and get get back to where you were, I guess, in terms of engagement and views and whatever and subscribers. But it will eventually come. It's a thing. You just have to do it, basically. Just do it.
I guess maybe, yeah. With me, I'm at the point where, quite frankly, I've kind of given up on my channel ever growing. I don't need it to anymore. I think this channel, the one I do, the one that's associated with this, the Magic Echo channel, at this point is literally just, Magic Echo is just where I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And I will eventually make a new channel for the longer video essays.
Yeah.
And this one is just going to be the whatever channel. And I think it sounds so much more fun when I think about it that way. It's like, I remember in 2021, I quit Let's Plays and I lost some subscribers there. But the one constant has always been, I've always been transparent about it. I've always let people know, because I think it's better to have people leave and go to find whatever they were looking for with me. They wanted me to play Trails. They could just as easily unsubscribe to me and go find somebody else who does what they want. It's going to be difficult because, like we said, there are no fucking Trails YouTubers, because nobody fucking knows who. I'm sure there are with like fucking 2 views, but I would rather they moved on and watched something else. Even though I don't have a sizable audience, we're like just above the bottom of the barrel. Basically. The 1,000 whatever sub YouTubers. We've eked out a little following, a humble little audience, playing niche games and whatever, which is an accomplishment in itself. But when it comes down to it, I'd much rather people enjoyed what they watched. Oh yeah. And if people want Trails and they're not going to get it on my channel, I'd much rather they knew that, so that they didn't hang on thinking, oh, I hope Luke plays Kuro. And then they can go find someone who will play it. And at the same time also, it just seems better all round for me too, and I think it'll be better for us to just do what we want to do. Absolutely. I think it'll be a lot healthier for us and lead to better content. Yep. And also, I think it's probably better for channels. Like, I quit Let's Play because I didn't enjoy it. Like your video said, it was so true about Let's Play. It's like 2007, 2013, rest in peace. Dude, I had to take that down. I will be trying to re-upload that. That wasn't actually one of my old things. Like, I just decided no more privating videos, and I thought, okay, but I had to actually delete this one because there's a fucking glitch on it. I upload it and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I got any comments. So I just whipped it out on my phone instead, and it said comments have been disabled. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are comments turned off? And I went to it and I was like, maybe I accidentally clicked it, because I did click a few things. So I turn it back on, I get a comment from someone who seems to have enjoyed the video, and I'm like, right on. And then I'm like, alright, I check for comments again later, because, sometimes I like to reply. And they've turned themselves off again. And I know for a fact that it wasn't me, because I literally made the effort to turn them back on. And then I got a comment, and I hadn't touched it since then. So it's literally impossible. There was some sort of glitch on it. So basically, I've just been, I've been watching over the video trying to see if there was anything wrong with it. But I don't think there is. I think it's just a really weird YouTube glitch. So I'm going to try re-uploading it. I've had that before, but that was with a stream that it disabled the chat, like the what do you call it, for the VOD, I had no control over it, and it just did it, and I wish I could have kept it just as a a memory, because it was my birthday stream, whatever. I actually have a yearly tradition, since it's kind of hard physically for me to
like do parties and stuff, we would do parties in VR, and with like birthday cake and shit, and like I would blow like the candles, and there's like some worlds you can do that, and it's really fun. We would do like karaoke, like sing songs, like metal, whatever, like Tenacious D. We did Disturbed, whatever, and have some fun doing some stupid stuff. And every year we do that, and yeah, one year just disabled it for whatever reason. I was kind of sad because people were in the chat, so or whatever. It's just I know it's a glitch. Sometimes it just does these kind of things.
Well, I guess that pretty much confirms that YouTube doesn't want us trying new things.
Yes.
It doesn't.
The hard truth with YouTube is anyone that just does what they want to do as well, and like if it doesn't go in YouTube's direction, let's just say, it's just gonna be a bit harder to get YouTube to cooperate. I noticed it's kind of weird, but that's my hunch. It's like comments, like shadow banning, not the shadow banning, but like comments disappearing that you left. And also when you have no control over comments, I hate that, because people leave comments, you want the comment to stay, but YouTube hides it for whatever reason.
Oh, they're trying to protect us from the scary words, but even then the algorithm's so shit that sometimes you can't even figure out why
they hide it. You're
so
like, why? The person said nothing wrong, and the thing is still hidden. Even for me, when I comment on my own channel, like I comment a response or something, sometimes it disappears. I'm like, why?
Oh, it's just the new internet. We're relying on algorithms to police speech, and it doesn't understand.
So at this point, what we do is just we have to expect that it's probably not gonna be easy to do content like that, but who cares, as long as we're having fun, I guess, and we can still do it.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Unfortunately, I think I do have to go because I need to take a massively long piss, because we have been talking for 2 hours and
maybe we should stop it now.
Oh wow, 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Let's end it there then. But I think that's a good.
We've ended it with a long one.
I think that was a good way to end it, though. Like we ended on a positive note. But to the future.
Yeah, the future. To the future. Yes. It looks fun. It does look fun. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm going to spend more time playing new games. And 13 Sentinels has been fun. I'm going to play some God Eaters. I'm going to do some. I want to do reviews. I quite like the idea of these shorter 15 to 20 minute reviews. I quite like them because I can put all that artistic stuff in there. Now you can do covers of whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to go, just have to be Falcom.
I want to thank everyone that actually stayed through all the moaning and complaining.
And I would like to thank you too, but I'd also like to encourage you to see your psychiatrist, get your medication updated for having listened to us moan. Because that means that there might be something wrong with your head. We appreciate it, but do look after your head. Because something's obviously wrong. And if
anyone is still there listening, then
that guy who was angry at us.
Good on you. I'm actually wondering what's going to happen this time. If we'll get any reactions, we'll see. But I hope everyone understands now. Finally, who am I kidding? Some people will never understand, but I hope the message came across, and that's all I can really say. And I guess we'll see you somewhere. See, you know what? I'll say this. See you someday, somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think that's I can see the title screen popping up now with little Toa. Toa needs to be the Grandmaster. That's how you get me back. Toa, not Mishi. If you make Mishi the Grandmaster...
No, Mishi is Adios.
If someone says to me... if somebody says to me then, Luke, you've got to play Kuro. At the end of Kuro 3, Toa's the Grandmaster and Mishi is Adios. And I'll be like...
Fuck yeah, this is...
Alright then. I'm back. I'm back in, lads. I'm back in the game. Otherwise, I can fuck off for now.
Yeah.
People keep telling me to take a break.